I remember she was like,
birthday to you.
Oh.
Happy birthday to
Air
you.
conditioners everywhere.
Happy birthday, dear Castro.
It's your birthday.
Appreciate it, guys.
Birthday to you.
Oh, no way, a Dragon Ball?
Yeah, and read the front. Don't ask.
Don't. Dude, this is so awesome, guys. I appreciate it.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
What was you guys having to spell is what took you so long?
Yeah, we were like, dude, how you?
How do you spell don't ask?
You know what? I'm not gonna be selfish with my wish. I'm gonna include all you guys.
Aww.
Don't say it or you'll fuck us.
No.
Oh, you just fucked up. Don't ask. It melted.
It melted.
Yay!
Make it happen.
The law said that if
This is
if
too
you
cool.
let the chocolate melt, it just becomes edible because it's chocolate. So it's
Yeah, just kinda
that
like
tall
that.
black one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't dick. That's chocolate.
It's chocolate. Hell yeah.
all right. Well,
Mordida. Mord.
we can enjoy it after if you want.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just- The whole idea here is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nibble it.
Nice, man. This is awesome. Dude.
We took long because he was literally washing the Dragon Ball, so it's sanitary.
That's a nice touch, bro. I love the
Wait,
Dragon Ball.
show
By
your
the
camera
way,
the
there's
Dragon Ball.
mints in it. It's a real thing.
Dragon Ball.
Oh, that's sick.
These guys know me.
No, you.
Welcome back to the Watchtower Film Podcast, the film review podcast on the Towercast Network. By cinephiles, for cinephiles. No. I wish. It'd be nice. Nice. I heard it.
I heard it too. It hurt me.
A little bit of Ric Flair.
Is that racist?
I'm pretty sure Austin's gonna put this at the top of the episode. So happy birthday, Castro!
Happy birthday!
I'm finally 24.
Oh,
It's been a
dude.
long
23
time
years in
coming,
the-
yeah.
What's it feel like having your first chest hair?
Oh man, look, it's Mark Maron. He's ending his podcast. Speaking of podcasts,
Oh,
he just announced it on his Instagram page.
You guys listen to his
God.
podcast?
I do.
I
Well,
did.
yeah, we do.
Yeah, I used to listen to since he really started.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Like, let's pay the man a little bit of tribute since we're on a podcast.
True.
That man helped define the medium of podcasting.
I know. Interviewed like Obama when he was Obama.
Yeah, he was releasing 2 episodes a week for like 10 years. And like I read that he released something to the like 6,000 episodes in the span.
That's more than Joe Rogan right now, so you know he's been in the game for a while.
Oh yeah, he basically likes to say like I did podcasting before anybody knew what podcasting was. Kind of feels like to me him and Kevin Smith were kind of the pioneers because nobody knew what podcasting was.
Even if you watch like the Mark Maron show, which I used to watch, it's all about him doing his podcast, and the things that he would get into intermittent of doing the podcast.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. I feel like it kind of showed the potential for the medium.
Yeah.
And especially like us doing it now, it's us exploring it through like film, and other people have explored it through other kind of like creative outlets. But yeah, man, that's sad.
It is sad, but he's kind of like, we just know it's time. Like, it's
Yeah.
time to move on to something else. And he straight up said, like, I might do another podcast. Like, I might open up another podcast, but WTF is done. Like, it's ran its course. It's time.
Well, the thing with his was it was just him, right?
It was just him. It was
I
just
think
him.
he
He,
needs, like,
did
a-
have a producer, and he started the podcast out of his garage.
Yeah.
And he started the podcast because he was going through a nasty divorce. And he kind of just wanted to find a way to
Smart.
move forward with life and figure it out. And he literally had people like Obama in his fucking garage.
I just wonder why he never got like a little co-host, something like to riff off of something.
I think it's because like when you listen to like Maron's comedy,
Yeah.
it's very much Maron going through a bad situation
Yeah.
and him trying to describe like
Make sense of
why
it.
why the hell is this going on? You
Yeah,
know? So I
yeah.
feel like
Damn, I
it's
do
not so
remember
much
his
to have
podcast.
somebody to riff off of, but I think also it's a challenge for like a comedian.
Yeah.
Working in a
Ooh.
vacuum and like can you still be funny and can you still find comedy in self? You know?
And his
Almost like he's kind of like going through his craft right there, no? Kind of
Yeah.
working his routine. That's pretty
It,
cool.
it feels like that's where the charm of his comedy and the podcast comes from is like when he talks to guests, he doesn't take himself too seriously. He doesn't take his guests too seriously. Like he's very respectful, but he's very kind of just like, so why do you do what you do? Like that's just how he is. And
Right
I
into it.
think it brings the charm out of it a little bit. It kind of humanizes it a little bit.
But it's coming
So
to an end, man.
Mark Maron and team, WTF team, congratulations and for
Great run.
hefty
Great
run.
run.
Yeah, rest in power.
Yeah, for WTF. WTF pod.
Is that how we're ending and starting our show? Just being sad about the marriage?
We'll end with his tagline. What's his tagline from Almost Famous?
Oh.
Lock the gates. Welcome. We're back.
Before we start,
Yeah.
you know me, you knew this guy. What have you guys watched?
What have we watched?
Because I know
Oh,
audience
man.
out there,
I've been-
they've watched a couple things. They want to talk about it too. So comment
Yeah.
while we comment about it.
I think I can say that I've been diving into submissions.
Right.
Oh.
For
For something?
Yeah.
I could say something, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I've been diving into submissions for something and a lot of indie films.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. It's really cool to see what people are doing on the indie sphere. And
But it's the whole pie, right? You got the good stuff, the bad stuff.
yeah, but I mean, I love it because for the same reason that I love this podcast, like what's good and what's bad. And I know
Yeah.
that like a lot of people feel like they know when they look at something it's like that's bad. But whenever you're rating for festivals and all that,
Yeah.
you have to go in each category. And that's where
Yeah.
you can kind of say like
The
sure,
breakdowns.
I visually I wasn't being like stimulated or affected. But story-wise, they really had something there, and then that's where you start to like understand the indie spirit of like, man, these people show a lot of potential for the budget they have, for what they're getting done. A film that I watched recently, they shot it for only a $7,000 budget. They were going full Rodriguez on it.
Oh, Rodriguez
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, they I think shot it in a week, made it in like 2 weeks or something like that. That's been my favorite submission so far.
Really?
Yeah, like I just felt like it had so much heart, so much authenticity. They worked with non-actors, which is always hard, but it's just got a lot of heart, and I feel like it's really impressive to see indie people going out and saying, "Sure, if the only resources I have are my cell phone, my Uncle Danny, and this pet chicken." We're gonna make a movie out of it, and that's really cool. So,
Yeah.
I've been watching that a lot lately.
You know,
Really
I'm actually
cool.
kind of glad that you guys are, one of those guys that are gonna watch the films, because from the Oscar we noticed that not a lot of people watch the movies. They
And
just, and you guys do.
It was a thing this year. I think it came out a couple of weeks ago that now they're making it a rule that you can't vote on the Oscars unless you've seen the film.
But how are they gonna?
Well, I guess at the very least, digitally, they can tell if you've opened the submission. If you,
Yeah, I guess so.
now we have the.
I was thinking they were gonna
capabilities
give them a couple of questions to be like, all right, you
I
saw
don't
the
think they'll
whole
go
No,
that
film.
far.
because
I don't
that
think
means
they'll-
that one poor bastard needs to
Yeah.
watch everything and come up with questions.
True.
But I
Yeah.
think
True.
I think it's probably like that. It's like they can see if you've finished the timeline,
Yeah.
depending on what program you've used and all that. So
True. You? What have you gotten into?
I screened 3 things since we've last.
Criterion, or
Recorded.
you went to the movies?
I went to the movies for one of them.
ooh, I went to the movies too.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Is this like a?
it's not. I was
That's
trying-
what these are for.
I know.
pal.
I thought I was aiming at it, but yeah.
I saw Lilo and Stitch.
Oh,
the new
All
Lilo
the
and
live.
Stitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was fun. It was exactly what it needed to be.
I saw a video where they were just comparing the animation
Original?
to the, and I don't why.
I don't know.
Why?
I thought this one had a lot of heart, and it stayed true to like the Disney kind of format, and
As long as they
it was
take-
fun, and it was funny, and it was heartwarming, but it was also very grounded about like being taken away from your sister.
I also heard Meg told me, she was like, "Oh, it's the worst," and I'm like, "Have you seen it?" And she's like, "No."
oh dear
But-
God,
but
again with
that's
this.
the
I know,
Oscars,
I know.
that's the whole thing.
But I mean, it's important to talk about the culture and like how it shifted because now when any movie comes out, TikTok's all over it, and if one person had a bad opinion, they'll splash it on TikTok, and other people will jump on and be like,
Yeah.
"I'll stitch that," and then
Uh-huh.
You know,
I agree.
to that sentiment, I read an article today that scared the hell out of me. Disney Entertainment and like financing are slated to lay off like a shitload of people.
Really?
And when you read like other companies, like it's like okay, but when you read Disney's laying off people, you know something's bad. And what I was
the
noticing
movies
is
that
that
are coming out.
I was reading that what they're doing is they're laying off people from their PR department
Really?
because
They think that's where it's kind
it's
of
just
like,
that's where it's shifting.
that's where.
A PR department, if you're not doing social media like if that's not your only source of
Right.
PR, you're dying. And I think that's just, and you don't need that many people to run social media. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
So-
I'm an idiot.
What?
I thought you said HR. I'm like, are we just getting rid of?
PR.
I was like, is
No,
Disney
that was
like,
in the
hey?
2000s, bro. That was in
Public relations.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, they're laying off HR finally. Now I can talk to
needs
Stephanie
them?
County.
Jeez.
What?
No, but yeah, it's like to your point of TikTok and like basically
know,
how
but-
the word runs now. Yeah, it's making me think like, oh man, it's just really leaning into that
It's
skid.
just and it's a that I know you've talked about the industry right now being a wild west, but it also feels like when it comes to like advertising, and it's been coming for a while.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a skin in the game when it comes to social media and how you're gonna like present yourself, it's like you have nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why like
Unfortunately.
social media has like done a ton when it comes to like if they release an ad, they're trying to actually cater more towards vertical formats and all that because they know that's going to get people's attention. I've seen a lot more people going into
I've-
That's why we have shorts.
I have a
please share them.
heavy take on this one.
Okay.
Okay.
You know how they say, the budget for the film is half this and then half for the advertising, right? The
Yeah.
marketing and everything. I've seen a couple of rappers do this thing. I think we talked about it this. Yeah, where they're not really doing much promotion. They're just releasing it like within a week.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a little bit better because we see the trailer 2 months before
Yeah.
and we lose interest.
You're right. The problem is
It's not what like it was back then where yes.
with rappers or any artist. Like I don't think it's just rappers, but
Yeah.
the person who started this trend was Drake. Because Drake got to be a big enough artist to where
Right.
he can say, I'm dropping a track tomorrow and it's still gonna hit 1 million.
Yeah.
And I think if you're a big enough name, you can afford to do that. I think when it comes to films,
True.
it's a weird trajectory, right? Like
No one
somebody,
has
one of you
security.
guys sent me a video of like, oh no, it was Corral. Corral sent me a video and it was kind of depressing, but it was like, fuck, man, this is where we're headed, huh? Of a guy like at the box office at the movies and being like, okay, I'm here to watch a movie. Can I get a ticket? And they were like, okay, what do you want, an organic movie or do you want?
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys seen this?
Yeah, I've seen this.
No.
one.
Is that, do you want an organic movie or do you want like a narrative movie or whatever? And they're like, well, what's the difference? Like, well, the organic movie, it's like catering to you, and it's gonna like AI is gonna create the
saw this
entire
one.
film. Like everything's gonna be AI, but it's gonna be like to your likings because of what you follow and shit. And the other one is just like a traditional. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll do the traditional. Like I don't need this.
Yeah.
Okay, it's gonna be $5,000.
There you go.
It's like,
that was the whole
why
kick.
is it $5,000? And then what about the organic movie? Oh, that's $5.
That's $5.
Why? It's like because AI can make a movie for less, and you still need to pay. It's getting more expensive to make real films now, and that's the whole bit.
Yes.
That's the whole bit. And I told Corral, I was like, dude, fuck, man, this is depressing as shit, man.
Because you can see both sides. Right? Like, I definitely want something tailored to me, but the traditional.
Yeah, or that it's just like even for studios or streaming services, it's cheaper to make, it's faster to make, and somebody shared a trailer. I think it might have been Corral too. It was an AI trailer. Like
Oh.
it was so
Oh, yeah, I've seen a
real,
couple,
bro.
yeah.
Like
Oh,
it
I've
was
been seeing-
so real.
I've been seeing. I think it's called Google something, but
It's like Gemini or
yeah, but the AI videos are insane right now.
It's getting insane.
They're getting
man.
so good,
Yeah.
and like
It's scary. Dude.
it's even to the point where I think like people just to make fun of it are like having the prompts communicate like, oh, we're not just prompts, we're people trapped in a simulation because it looks so authentic. To
Right.
like whatever it is, even like when it looks like there was one that looked like a camera POV of like, when you see like motorcyclists or so, where they have the like dash cam,
Yeah.
but they'll walk into like convenience stores and have interactions with people and you can see all that. But it looked so real. Like
it's getting crazy.
it's beyond
But anyways,
uncanny, yeah.
I'm tying that back to just like the word of mouth thing is like if it ever spread like wildfire,
Yeah.
this is the era where it's
Oh.
really spreading like wildfire in a crazy fast time.
Yeah.
But I don't concur. I think Lilo and Stitch, the live action, was actually good. It was really good. It made you feel all the emotions it was trying to make you feel.
Meg disagrees.
But it was even like.
But she hasn't seen it, though.
yeah, but she'll still fight you.
The other two films I screened was Woody Allen's Vicky Cristina Barcelona, which I
Oh,
really
dude.
loved.
I've always seen the trailer like every year. I
Yeah.
see it pop up. Somewhere.
Yeah.
I just never.
That's me. That was me. So I was like, I'm gonna screen.
When they're in
this
the
one.
restaurant.
I literally gave Sandra options. I was like, I'm gonna put 3 trailers for you, and I want you to pick one. I
Same.
picked Vicky Cristina, and that's usually our routine. Vicky Cristina Barcelona, Frankie and Johnny, I think it's called. It's
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Al Pacino and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh shoot.
And that's like Al Pacino's a cook in a restaurant, and Michelle Pfeiffer's a new waitress, and it's this whole thing.
Oh wow.
Frankie, I think it's called Frankie and Johnny or something like that.
Interesting. Those two together.
And then the other one was a Hal Ashby film, Shampoo,
Really?
and she picked Vicky Cristina Barcelona, and it was great. It was really great. It is on Criterion. It's part of the Penelope Cruz collection. But
Does
it
she
was
come out in it?
yeah, she does. It's her, Javier Bardem,
And
Scarlett
Scarlett
Johansson,
Johansson.
and then the brunette who's really good.
Yeah, and I've seen her in other things too.
Yeah, she's really good. Anyways, I screened that, and that was really good. I highly recommend it.
What do you rate that
Terrific
one?
picture. That was high for me. That was probably like a 8.9, 8.7. Let's say 8.7.
Really?
I love Woody Allen pictures, man. And like this doesn't feel like a Woody Allen film. It really doesn't. It feels like somebody in Spain made it. You know?
Well, you know, like the one we're watching in the studio. Pedophiles tend to make great films.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
If anybody's been seeing the studio, that's one of the lines.
Man.
It's pretty-
Imagine if Michael
That
Jackson
is
made a
what,
movie.
yeah. I haven't seen the last episode
No,
yet.
it's the first one when they're kind of arriving. It was like they're talking about Weinstein or something.
Oh,
Like
shit.
somehow, you know.
Well,
But no, the one I watched is Mickey 17. I think you watched it.
that's right.
Damn, I've been wanting to watch that one. I wanted to watch it in theaters, and we had missed like the last screening. So
I just hope people don't go into it thinking it's a Parasite.
Right.
You know,
No,
his
it-
next sequel or his next.
no, but if
big
you
thing.
look at all the trailers, it looks like a summer blockbuster kind of film.
Yeah.
But it's
Did you see it
weird.
already? It's just
It's just fun.
Bong Joon just. Bong Joon Ho.
First of all, no.
Bong Joon Ho.
Bong Joon Ho.
Bong.
Hey, he's got my name, so you know.
What? Oh, Bong Joon. No, he doesn't. It's
Yeah.
Bong Joon. Oh,
Because
not
he's got
John.
two O's, bro.
One.
He's got two O's.
What about Bong Joon Ho? Director Bong?
No, it's just you know how I felt like some of the dialogue was kind of quick
Sorry,
and
Austin.
almost made me feel like he tried to show us how Koreans see
timestamp.
us. You know how we see Koreans?
Oh, sure. No, I don't think he was doing that.
That's what I was
I don't
thinking.
think
Like,
he was doing that. I think he was just
because
like.
some of the dialogue was kind of quirky. Obviously, I know that he 17 was
Yeah.
supposed to be the quirky one. 18
Yeah.
was supposed to.
Pattinson did a hell of a job
Oh yeah, for sure.
as a performer.
At first, I thought I was going to get annoyed with 17 because
Yeah,
of his whole
yeah, 'cause of
goofy voice. But it grows, and then you start seeing all the other ones. And,
Yeah,
oh,
dude.
wow.
I feel like
the hell
Robert
was that?
Pattinson really has something to say as an actor. Like,
Yeah.
like he was trying so hard to like
Get away
break out of like
Twilight.
the Twilight series, and I saw him do like a period piece where he's like this Victorian era love interest, and it was interesting.
I saw that too.
haven't
It had to
seen that
do with.
Victorian piece.
It was like
Have to
right
do with, like-
after it was right after Twilight. But
I
like
know what
he
you're
started
talking
doing a lot of these different roles to be like I can really perform.
Remember
and then
Me? That was a good one.
yeah, no, and everything I've seen him in now, it's just like one hit after another.
The one with his brother. Which one? I really love that. That's when I was
Which
like,
one? Yeah.
You have a brother?
The Safdie brothers one.
yeah, where his brother's
Time.
yeah,
What the fuck is it called?
Good Time.
Good time.
That's when I was like, this.
I
guy
still
could
haven't
act.
seen that one.
You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen Good Time.
Oh, you might cry, bro.
I like the Safdie
There's
brothers.
two brothers.
You know what he did really good? I mean, The Lighthouse. You know, The Lighthouse. He was
The Lighthouse
fantastic.
was
by this guy. Because
phenomenal.
of this guy.
Phenomenal.
Maps to the Stars. I saw that one. He did something special there too.
I haven't seen live.
Maps to the Stars.
And I'm a sucker for
I know
those.
that like Tenant, like it's a very hit or miss for a lot of
Yeah.
people, but I feel like I still saw some range in him. I still saw him like separate from being a love interest and being a more
Yeah.
complicated character. I think
Oh, I
stuff
forgot
like that.
he was the fucking Batman.
Dude, he's amazing in
He's-
the
he is
Batman.
good in
And then
Batman.
plus in that one, he's so like wide range. He plays somebody who's like broody and hardcore, but then has to come back and play that kid who lost his parents
Yeah.
and like doesn't know how to socialize. Like
I'm down. I'm down for Pattinson. I think you're
He
right
grew on me
about
for sure,
Mickey
100%.
17. I was having a conversation with somebody about this, and they were like upset, kind of for the same reasons. Like, the hell is this, dude? Like this and that. And I was like,
It's layered. I understand the whole metaphors.
No,
that, you know,
dude, you're kind of missing the point. But I also feel like if you haven't seen director Bong's other works, if you've only seen Parasite, you're gonna feel like you're gonna feel cheated a little bit.
Yeah.
If that's all you've seen, but if you haven't seen like Okja, for
I've
instance,
heard Okja is really good.
Okja's is
I was about.
really well.
Was it that the one in 2002?
No,
That was one
that's
with the hippo.
like 2019, I think.
Oh,
It was
okay,
during
no.
the pandemic. Actually.
Yeah.
They recommended another one from 2002 with the same guy, and I was
Yeah, Memories
Mother?
of Murder, maybe.
There
or
we go, that
Mother.
one.
Memories of Murder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mother.
If you want to see Parasite-ish stuff, you see Memories of Murder or Mother. But what I think director Bong is starting to become like the Spielberg of Korea, where he can go deep and he can really sink into stuff, or he can just make like a good blockbuster that's still saying something.
Yeah.
and you're saying that because of what you saw with Mickey 17?
Not just
If-
Mickey 17. That's what I'm saying. Like Mickey 17, Okja, Snowpiercer. Those are
Right, right.
blockbusters.
They're
But they're still
blockbusters,
saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if you wanted to, you could dive into it being a critique
Yeah.
on society,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
economics,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and if you do that, they're so
Yeah,
there.
when you see Mickey 17 and Snowpiercer, that's actually a pretty good double feature. You start kind of seeing the commentary on humanity and where we're going,
Yeah, like exploitation of labor.
of resources.
Resources.
It's also a commentary.
Ruffalo's
Mickey
character.
17 is actually also a commentary on, oh gosh, what is it called? Like colonizing
In what way?
the animals.
Oh, yeah.
And how we look at people who are
Oh, yeah, that's definitely on the
indigenous.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's saying a lot. I think he
I'm
was
not saying
just
it's
also like trying to bring people back to the theaters, and I respect
Yeah,
that.
because
you
it
know?
is a blockbuster. I shouldn't have gotten in with just the thought of, Parasite, but it was an acid trip for me, dude. I was just like, whoa,
Yeah.
what is going on here? Like,
Yeah. Also because
I've been
he's
dying
just-
to watch it.
just
He's
throwing
having
up
fun
and
with
then-
with shit like that, or like sex. He's
Oh,
having a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of fun with sex on this one, and also
Jealousy,
commentary on like
yeah.
how this chick, like there's this love story, and then she's fucking the dude who's cooler. Like,
Yeah.
it's good, man. There's a lot to say in this
I
one.
was just like,
It just
whoa,
yeah,
it's
you're
all
right.
over
It
the
is a
place.
Parasite. It's
Yeah.
not an Oscar film. And I don't think it was meant to be. I'm
Yeah,
starting
okay,
to
that's
notice
a
the
better word.
pattern. We were just talking about Fincher, right? And like, I'm
It's-
starting to notice a pattern that their goal is to bring people back to the movie theaters, and like
And that's definitely an attention grabber for sure.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit.
Wes, Wes, I think is still appealing to the art house gang.
You think so?
Yeah, with Phoenician Scheme, I think so. Asteroid City might have been more of a
No,
more,
I think
I kind of agree with Carlos. It just seems
you
a
know
little
what?
bit.
I feel like if you want to see there's certain blockbusters that I've been seeing lately that they've been pushed the hell out of when it comes to like online streaming, where they know you're gonna watch it at home. And I've heard somebody recently talk to me about how with Netflix there's a formula for their movies that they want to make it that if at any point you like tune out and come back in, the story will always recap itself wherever it's at, so that way you can like get re-enticed.
So just
Yeah.
dumbing it
Like
down. For,
yeah, it's dumbing it down and creating short attention spans. And I feel like with a movie like Wes's, where it's like, oh no, you're gonna go to the theater, you're gonna have to sit there and really watch it.
Asteroid City got distributed through Netflix. No,
No?
we
Who-
watched it
where-
in theaters.
no, I know, but that doesn't mean anything. Netflix should still own the
Paintbrush.
property.
Netflix.
No, I know
isn't-
Indian Paintbrush is a production company, not a distribution company. So like,
New Line Cinema.
But Netflix doesn't show on theaters.
yes, it does.
Which one?
It
Dude,
was focus. Features.
Focus features.
Focus.
Yeah.
Focus features.
Okay.
Focus.
There's
But
no Netflix.
where did it go to digitally? Yeah, it does, dude. I mean, like, look at
Why
for
wo-
instance, The Irishman. The Irishman premiered in
digitally.
theaters.
I think it's on.
Oh, it was.
There
Netflix.
are films
Okay,
that premiere in
okay,
theaters,
okay.
and that's mostly the director fighting for a theatrical release.
Yeah,
first.
yeah. Obviously. You
So
want
so there are films like Netflix, any streamer will,
that is true. My bad. that is true.
depending on the film,
No,
depending
I
on
think-
the
I
filmmaker.
think-
Yeah.
Asteroid City might have gotten a Hulu release.
I felt like it
Fox?
went to streaming a week after we saw it in theaters.
No, man.
No,
It was a while. It was a
Yeah.
while because I was
lasted a
waiting
while.
for it. I've seen a lot of his stuff on
It's on
Hulu.
Peacock.
Peacock right now. What about Phoenician Scheme? Is Phoenician Scheme owned by anybody?
Fox Searchlight, maybe.
824.
Yeah, maybe.
Focus as well.
Focus too.
Focus Features.
Good for Focus.
And then Universal's handling international.
Oh, okay. So it might be on Peacock.
Well, right before we
That's
get to
why
this,
Asteroid City's on Peacock.
before we get to
Universal.
this film, have you guys seen the Odyssey, the behind the scenes?
I saw stills. Yeah,
Stills,
yeah,
yeah, stills.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a Nolan guy now.
I haven't
Sorry,
seen him
Austin.
yet.
Yeah, that's just like fucking Matt Damon
Matt
and the
Damon,
Trojan suit.
yeah.
Or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude, it looks pretty cool. But
just
it's like
hyping this
again,
one up so
Nolan's
much.
another one of those guys that's going to constantly fight for people to come back to the theaters.
Yeah.
And how better, especially in the Gladiator era that we live in, to bring back people to the theaters with
Well,
an
what
epic.
is it? Him,
Oh.
the Tom Cruises, the
Tom
well,
Cruise. Oh yeah,
Tom
Mission Impossible. Yeah, yeah.
Cruises, Medea?
There's a Medea?
No, but I'm saying like
I don't think he focuses on.
Nah, right?
I think he focuses on
BT.
BT,
the
Black Center Productions.
Culture,
Yeah.
culture movies.
I feel like
Yeah, what you're
Spielberg?
asking is who's bringing people to the theaters?
Yeah. From what I've noticed, because I know Steven Spielberg was hyping Tom Cruise a lot.
Nolan.
what's the guy
Nolan
who
for sure.
Greta Gerwig.
Barbie.
who produced In the Heights?
Lin-Manuel Miranda?
Yeah, is he doing anything?
He's working on another musical. A
But for
baseball
the
one,
stage, right?
For the stage.
Mm.
As far as directing, he's only done Tick Tick Boom.
He did the one.
Also did theatrical and then hit Netflix. And that's a Netflix film.
Yeah, I remember that one. I remember because you told me about that one.
No, but I mean, you still have stuff like Lilo and Stitch or
Yeah.
Well,
Minecraft
Disney's-
came out for a little bit.
Minecraft.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I guess what we're asking is like in terms of like filmmakers we
Who's-
respect.
Yeah,
we're
because those are
trying
like,
to,
animation. Those are kind of like
we're trying to keep the theaters open.
Yeah.
But I do think Nolan. I do think
Big
I
blockbusters
know
are
Wes.
Nolan.
Wes obviously is fighting for theatrical because his films released theatrically.
But I will say that his also does get a very limited release because
Yeah.
every time he's released anything, even like Venetian, I don't think it'll be here till July.
no.
I think
That's interesting too. Is this did Asteroid City release in the summer?
yeah.
Oh wow!
He lately he's been releasing them, but what I appreciate about him is that you could
Because
definitely
French Dispatch, I distinctly remember it being the winter.
yeah.
That was a winter release,
Yeah.
French Dispatch.
and we did see it theatrically.
I have to see that one.
And we only saw it in one theater in
No.
El Paso.
Did we go see
Asteroid City in the theaters.
no, we saw it in the theaters because I remember you guys taking me.
Okay.
Sounded funny.
What?
That sounds funny. It's like, come on, boy, we're gonna go see a movie.
I don't want to dance.
No, but like really
French
quick,
Dispatch, I remember it only screened
Yes, sir.
at AMC. We went to go see it in the Northeast because that's the only
it was
theater that.
Montecito.
Really?
Yeah,
French
Mon-
Dispatch?
Yeah,
Yes.
because you guys saw it at Montecito, and then you guys raced to the east side one, and I met up with you guys there to catch something else.
Oh, we watched Dune 2.
Maybe we saw it a second time at
No,
AMC?
I remember we're double featuring. It might have even been Dune 1 because I
Yeah,
remember
probably.
we were gonna like go and then we watched French Dispatch. It was amazing, and then I went to watch Dune and I was like passing out because of how much
I
cinema.
think I saw French Dispatch a second time, or maybe I'm thinking of Last Night in Soho.
Yeah, last night in Soho, we
We didn't even know you doing the first one.
With
Last night in
Yeah,
Soho,
we did. What are you talking about?
We had
No,
to
we
catch that at the
didn't.
AMC.
With
We didn't
Ricky.
know each
Yeah.
other during
Yeah.
the first.
Wasn't doing like 2017?
No.
No, it's 2021.
Apparently,
first one?
Castro didn't know me in Dune.
No. Hold on. The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2021, 2022.
Which one am I thinking of?
Post-pandemic, man. Post-pandemic.
No,
I
but
think you're thinking of Arrival.
Really quick, like PTA with one battle after another, bringing people back.
Yeah, PTA is
Absolutely.
one of them.
Yorgos has another film coming out this year, Begonia.
Yorgos?
The next Avatar is coming out.
Oh, that's right.
James
Yeah,
Cameron.
James Cameron for sure. is
And then
one of them.
James Gunn. I mean,
And yeah, Richard Linklater just released a film in
Is
Cannes.
not bringing people back to cinema.
No, well, no, because I don't know. I don't know.
No.
tried.
What
He
I
tried.
do know is that he premiered his film New Wave at Cannes,
Ooh.
and Netflix bought it.
No way.
So Netflix is gonna release New
Ooh.
Wave. So I doubt he's gonna get it. The
Or
Celine
they just,
Song
or
also
did
has
they
another
just buy
film
it to
coming out.
shelf it?
Celine Song has the hold on, the Materialists.
Yeah.
I really want to catch it. It's an A24 picture. Dakota Johnson, Pedro Pascal, and Chris Evans, and this like love triangle thing that Celine Song, the director of
Celine's
Past Lives,
past life.
Oh.
she directed Past Lives. She directed this new thing called The Materialists.
You know what? At first, I thought A24. I think when I told you about this, at the beginning, I thought it was like one of the film studios that 1 or 2 films a year.
Yeah,
You gotta go see
It
it.
was.
But now they're just like,
Now they're taking over.
yeah,
They're killing
but
it.
not even good ones. So I'm
What?
like-
A24 is like the new Searchlight.
Yeah.
yeah, they're like there's
But what
some
do you
good
mean
ones.
not even good ones? Like what have you not liked?
I saw this one called Presents with, put Presents, I think.
Presents.
There's just a couple bad ones.
Okay.
Where it's just like
I've-
if
I,
don't
you know
like
what?
Presents.
I've
I've
always
heard-
known A24 to give voice to people who
Oh.
have like a unique perspective
Yeah.
on filmmaking.
I just saw the one with Jenna Ortega, the How to Kill a Unicorn.
Oh,
Like,
that
that's
was
Oh.
great. You didn't like it? That was so fun, man.
For an A24?
Yeah, it's a unique thing. Like, think about it.
Did you watch?
You know when I finished, you know the first thought I thought? Why?
Why? Did you watch?
Why? Because it's. I think I think first of all, you're not supposed to take it that serious. I think it's like,
But it's an A24.
what doesn't matter? I walked out of the theater thinking like, oh, Eric is gonna love this shit. The first person I told was like, Eric, you got to go watch
It's
How to Kill a
entertaining. It's
Unicorn.
entertaining.
But
why?
I also think it's a commentary on the absurdity of what rich people
Oh
fucking
yeah,
do.
yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even finding a mythical creature, you're going to want to monetize that bitch.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's that. And then, like, nature taking its revenge in a
But
really
don't you go into the whole
quirky
thing where
way.
you hate about the tropes? Like, they're just
Well,
following the whole thing.
yeah. But I guess, like, in those movies, I've learned to program my brain to not take them so serious.
And that's what I thought. A24
Yeah.
didn't get any of those. Just
I can
top
see
tier.
that. I can see that.
But they're still pretty good. I'm just like,
I've also heard mixed reviews of that war one. The one with Jesse Plemons.
it's good, but it's just you see it once and it's like, all right, it's a scenario.
I've never
it's
seen
a
it.
scenario that
You and
happened
Austin
with
saw it. Austin, you saw it, right? The war film with Jesse Plemons.
Civil War?
Civil War.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the other one.
It was okay.
But I've heard
There's another one.
I've heard if people are expecting it to be an action film,
No,
it's much more of a like war documentary.
Well, it takes you
Tone.
more into like kind of the media side of the war and like what
thought you
these
were talking
people
about
who
warfare.
cover it. No,
Oh, no,
like,
that's the new one.
The
yeah,
new
no,
one.
Civil War. Just like
It's just
like
Christian.
people in this world that you don't think about, like photographers of war and what they go through.
Have you guys seen
and
it?
stuff
I haven't
like
seen
that.
it.
It's just Kristen Dunst
pretty
coming
good.
at the end of her career as a journalist, and
Yeah.
she brings this young,
That like idolizes her. Like,
yeah, but then
like-
she realizes that she wasn't that crazy when she was, or I don't know, right? Like it was just kind of one, like
yeah.
But is it, first of all, is it a quote unquote A24 worthy? And second of all, did you guys think
production wise it was
good?
nice, but I just
Well, it was that director's last film, right?
Alex Garland. Alex
Yeah.
Garland directed that. He
did
I
some
don't want
pretty
to say
good ones.
well, it's his last film, but he's been co-writing a lot of shit.
oh,
I
okay.
liked it.
He's been co-writing. He co-wrote Warfare.
Warfare.
Alex Garland co-wrote
It's
Warfare.
kind of the same thing. It's just a scenario that you got to get off of, and
Okay.
it's cool. I'm one of those survival films,
Yeah.
like Mark Wahlberg, try to get out of there.
But I guess
well,
like
speaking of survival,
Speaking of surviving family drama, we're talking about 2001.
go on.
Oh, great.
Let's do it.
This is the soft entrance.
Yeah. You're
We're talking
Your
about
director.
2001's Wes Anderson's Royal
Yeah.
Tenenbaums, directed by Wes Anderson, because Wes Anderson month is happening now. Wes Anderson.
and this is
Wes
his
Anderson.
junior film, right? This is his third one.
His junior.
His junior film and his filmography.
The first film that
Um,
doesn't take place in Texas for him.
The first film
Oh,
from
really?
Wes
New York. That's right.
I dislike.
Really?
The first one, what?
The first film from Wes I dislike.
Well,
I'm
hold on,
so
I did
glad
that.
you said that, dude. I felt extremely underwhelmed on this one.
I hate
We were just talking about
I
that.
didn't hate it.
I-
but
is
I-
that why we took so long to get here?
You
It's
didn't say that right now. You said that it
Ass.
needed some.
it's ass?
Wes, you
Nah.
make
Yeah,
me
yeah, yeah.
ashamed to have a tattoo with your name on it. No, I'm kidding. We'll get into it. Let's get into it real quick. I have a lot of opinions
Yeah.
that need to be communicated.
Do you
Quick
want to
rapid
rapid fire?
Yeah, but we're gonna rapid fire, and I'm kind of taking charge because I got a lot to say about this movie.
Let's get
So
it.
you're giving us
Um,
your score first.
No, well, I will say this. It is my first time watching it, being a big Wes fan.
Same.
And the ones that I've been missing from his filmography right now are this one, Bottle Rocket, and yeah, I'm still trying to knock him out. But like this one, Bottle Rocket, and then now the new one, Phoenician Scheme.
Gots
But
to.
I
like,
can't believe I'm ahead of you on the list
yeah, no, you are
by one.
by one.
So watch Bottle Rocket.
Yeah.
fast, So we can be
Yeah.
on the same page.
No, but yeah, it's crazy. First time watching it. This is one that I think everybody says it's going to be your favorite Wes Anderson film,
Same.
and for a lot of people, it is. But yeah, we'll get into it. Austin, I'd like for you to go, if you'd like.
Only if you like.
Hey guys, my name is Austin,
Yep.
and I've been sober for 2 minutes.
And you know what? No one can take those 2 minutes away from you, buddy.
Here, I'll drink for you, bro.
Can I just say,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
you can say anything.
I don't like being back here alone.
Aww.
Eric!
Shout out to our producer, Eric
Oh
C.K.
wait,
Nunez,
did you
who's not here
introduce
today.
anybody
I
today?
sure didn't.
Joining us on West Month is our actor, Austin Young. Making sure we're
what?
sounding good. It's because I saw Officer Doofy over here and reporting for duty.
I said, don't bother me when I clean my room, bro.
We got actor,
Extraordinaire.
drone pilot extraordinaire,
Well, I just got my official medal
Yeah, look at this guy.
for flying over 100 minutes.
Mr. Eric Castro, join us on the 1-2s.
And a new Wes Anderson fan. Yeah.
Hey.
Well, he
there we
loved
go.
Rushmore. He was
Yeah, I
like,
really
Oh,
did.
man, I remember.
Just with this one.
We have the only person behind us today, Austin Tyronius Young. Making sure we're sounding
my
good.
middle name is not Tyronius.
Make sure we're sounding
It
good
is
on the 1
today,
2s.
bro.
Austin Tyrone Young.
My middle name is not Tyronius.
It's probably Tyronius.
No, it's not.
T-Bone.
It's probably
T-Bone
It's
Young.
not T-Bone.
Mr. T-Bone himself.
It's Austin Tay.
Taylor
Hey,
Young.
ooh, I like that, man.
Austin Taylor Young. Only one
Why are you using my full government name, man?
because you didn't like Tyronius and you didn't like Tay Tay.
Young is cool, bro. You can do so many things with it.
Austin
Branding
Taint
wise.
Young.
Brigham Young.
Yeah, bro.
What?
You know that my history teacher in high school, or maybe it was middle
Used
school,
to Brigham Young?
Used to bring. That's how he would make us memorize Brigham Young. Brigham Young was like a revolutionist guy. So he's like Brigham Young. You know, like Michael Jackson, Brigham Young, and that's how we memorized
Wow.
Brigham Young for the
Wow.
tests.
And they arrested him the
Anyways.
next day. What?
Our fellow writer, director, film enthusiast extraordinaire, Carlos
Our
and Delatorre.
humble.
Or
No.
what does Owen Wilson do in the film?
Wow. How you doing?
And last but not least, our Wes
Woo!
super fan,
Woo!
Michael.
I am the greatest.
I am
Hello.
the greatest
To man.
Wes fan.
You're gonna upset some people with that.
Yeah, you know what?
Where's
Hey,
Bardo?
man,
I thought Bardo was sticking around.
I believe
Yeah,
it.
He said
fake
he had
fan.
to-
Fuck, Bardo.
I'm still the greatest because
Exactly.
the other guy didn't show up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyways, really quick,
Rating, pal.
Quick.
Wait,
rating.
and
It's
shout
funny
out
because
to
I'm looking at Austin, but it's aligning to the camera, to my camera lens. So when I look at Austin,
You're
I
just
just see
staring right at the people?
outline of his head, and it's just my fucking
oh
camera.
man, it's man with a
Make
movie
it
camera
work.
all over
Cyborg,
again.
yeah, it's man with a movie camera, literally.
Oh, and also shout out to our producer Eric Nunez.
yeah.
Left me alone today.
Left
Who
him
did
alone.
leave you
Ditched
alone
him
today.
for crazy LA people.
Wow. Yeah, he's not gonna join us for West stuff. Damn it.
He's gonna miss this one and Phoenician.
But when he does show
I
up,
know.
he's gonna go immediately to HR.
You know, he said that he's probably gonna go watch Phoenician this week since it's already showing in.
He's
Dude.
gonna screen it in the.
Oh, really?
I
He
will-
better watch it at the
Yeah.
Arrow Theater, man. Like, chances are Wes is gonna be there for a screening.
God.
Is he
Yeah.
allowed in the States?
No, Wes?
Why wouldn't he be?
Why wouldn't he be?
Well, I mean, look at the stuff in his
The
film.
track record.
Yeah, look at this track record and who he hangs out with.
Wow.
Well, he does live in Paris, so.
No, I was working the pub the other day, and then Robert, who's like one of our regulars, comes in and he's like, I just saw the greatest movie last night. And he went to go watch the premiere of Phoenician Scheme with
Oh,
the
shit.
Q&A.
Thursday, the early one, the one I told you about.
Yeah, and he kept like trying to
Son
tell me,
of
he's
a
like, oh man,
bitch.
there was this part of that. I'm like, shut up.
No!
Go away.
No
Did
spoilers.
Did you smack him on his bald head? And be
Oh,
like, shut up?
Jesus.
No, I left poor Robert alone. But no, I'm so excited to see it.
Same.
Yeah, that's cool. You're excited. Camera's on me now. It's my time to give my rating. Castro, shut up.
Yes, please, Austin.
Actually, you know what? This is my time right now. All of you are muted. I'm gonna give my rating. um, 6.4.
Okay.
Whoa!
That's a good rating for this film.
Dude, he literally just fucking dug 6 feet under and just threw the film in there.
Yeah, he dunked on it. It's
I,
great.
I fell with my rating like what's his face did when he fell down the hole.
No, man.
Henry.
Yeah.
Henry. You know why I remember Henry? Because of
What's
John
up?
Henry.
What's up,
A
Coltrane?
mighty man.
Dude,
You remember
oh,
John
dude.
Henry?
We just jabbed. Oh,
You remember John
Yeah.
Henry?
No.
Yeah, we just driving on this
There's an
podcast.
We
old-
just jabbed him.
Oh my
Job.
god. No, there's an old folk tale about this railroad worker named John Henry.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I remember
remember
that.
that.
I told
John
you guys
Henry
this
was
time.
a
What do you
mighty
guys,
man.
you guys are fucking with me, right?
No, I remember that. It
Yeah.
was like
His
an
heart
animation,
exploded
right?
because he's
And
trying
then
to
what
fight the
happened
king.
is
Yeah.
A man came out and he was
Oh,
like,
I told you
I
this.
can beat you at building the railroad. And then he like went toe to toe with the machine. He beat the machine.
But
Because
Dude.
nothing beats John Henry.
Dude, you just unlocked
But
the
his heart
fucking
exploded.
memory.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, Henry.
it just shows that you guys don't listen to me. I've said the story like twice.
You
Yeah,
also thought you
I
didn't
do
know me
remember.
during Dune. What the fuck?
I'm thinking of one that came out when I barely met these guys and I thought it was Dune. Which was another one that's like Dune?
Bro, that was. You met us almost 10
Ah,
years
okay,
ago. Kyle.
anyway.
That's really fucking with my head, but yeah.
We're going to keep rolling around with rapid fire ratings because I'm pretty sure it's like, what, 20, 30 minutes in the podcast?
40.
40 minutes in the podcast,
Man,
and
just
people are
getting
waiting
to know
for...
us, you know.
Please put a timestamp. It's like, skip ahead if you want to listen to...
You know what? When I first watched it, I wanted to give it an 8.2, but then I was talking to the low for a while.
I'm
I
sorry.
could see certain things that you see later on in Wes Anderson that makes him a Wes Anderson auteur.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably give it a 7.9.
Okay.
Because I still like it. It's still, you know, I wouldn't go as far as 6.4, but I like the style of, you know, I'll talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. But 7.2?
6.9.
6.9.
7.9.
7.9. 7.9. I want to give it an 8.2, but 7.9.
Okay. Carlos? Carlungus?
At first,
Carl
like,
Bingus.
this was my first
Senor
time screening
Bingus?
it also. I'd never seen it.
Everybody's been telling you this will be your favorite.
Yes, genuinely.
Everybody's like,
multiple
ah,
people.
hey.
Because you even brought up about the 17. I don't know. I want to talk about that.
Yeah, I still
I have
haven't
a-
figured that one out.
Oh, I got a big theory on that, bro.
Yeah.
I think it's one of my best ones ever.
Wow.
I'm
Pop it out. Like ripping off a Band-Aid.
at a
slitting your wrist.
6.9. I'm at a 6.9.
6.9, okay.
Nice.
Wait, then why did all of y'all react?
I
my
wanted to
rating
give
like
it a
that?
7. I wanted to give it a 7, but I
I have a big reason why it's probably not a 7.
Yeah.
But okay,
Okay.
6.9?
6.9.
6.9. I,
69.
as El Paso's representative as the Wes Anderson fan club,
Wait, are you the president?
I'm the
I mean,
president
just look
and
at the-
sole member.
I emailed about joining and they told me to fuck off, little kid.
Yeah, because I will only be the sole member.
I was
else
about
has
to
a
make a
tattoo
Jason
of-
joke, and I didn't want to.
What? What was it?
Because no, it was against Austin.
What do you
and
mean?
He's our friend.
That's
He's our
me.
buddy. So I'm not gonna
Um,
make the joke.
Tell me.
Okay,
I'll say it.
I'm going to rate it
Just like,
a mighty,
almighty. Oh,
mighty,
shit.
mighty
We never heard that.
6.8.
6.8.
6.8.
Oh, damn.
Is this the first film that all of us rated one under 7?
And
No, because he put 7.9.
I put 7.9.
damn it.
Are you dumb? I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? My bad.
You
No,
know, since I've been hanging around with you, I feel a little dumber for sure.
I wanna kickstart the conversation. Thank you, Carlos, for letting me do that. Because
The fuck, dude! You weren't
I-
that. This is starting to become a really bad trend.
what do you mean?
Because like you're saying that, and then I had somebody tell me today, like you do talk a lot on the podcast. So you
No.
probably
Aw,
shouldn't.
buddy.
You probably
You're the
shouldn't talk as
narrator.
much.
You're the
Wait,
one
who-
that
wait, who
keeps it
told you
going.
that?
I'm not gonna say.
yeah,
it.
Fuck
yeah.
that
you
guy.
can tell
What's her
us.
name?
Yeah.
What's
dude.
her name?
I'm not gonna say.
What's her
as he's
name?
an avid watcher of the pod. I don't
Yeah, she
wanna-
But he's
is.
already critiquing that you talk
Yeah.
too much.
Anyways,
Fuck that guy.
so yeah, I'm just like,
No,
I
no.
haven't been like,
No, you're
take
good.
a go for it, pal.
No. That was just
Carlos,
a,
you can be honest.
a
Did your
friendly
wife
fire.
tell you this?
No, she has told me in the past though. She has told me in the past, like, hey, let the other guys talk. I'm like, I don't make
Oh, no, I-
anyone shut up.
You know
Like-
what? I feel like she talks a lot.
Jeez.
I feel I like how Austin put it. You're our narrator.
Yeah. I said that.
I like how you put it.
You're our Alec Baldwin.
Oh gosh, don't say that. Not
Oh,
right now.
that's pretty good. That's
And
pretty
I'm
good.
your cinematographer.
And this
Oh my gosh,
and this
shut
is,
up.
and this
No,
is the
Dear
novel.
God, no.
You love me.
I do. I really do.
His last chance.
You love me.
Oh gosh.
Anyways, Royal Tenenbaums.
Go on.
Real quick, I think Elliot told me this the other day on set. He's like, I don't feel like I'm being presumptuous, but do you want to make love to me?
Elliot?
Yeah.
That's dude. That
He looks like Austin Powers, so it doesn't help
Yeah,
already.
it was
You
the
know?
best thing
So
I've
should
heard
we
all-
shag now or shag
Yeah,
later?
it was one of those. It was like, I hope I'm not being
Yeah,
presumptuous.
baby.
But do you want to make love to me? And it was.
Fucking Elliot.
I
a
want
shirt.
to. I want to use that cold open at every networking event.
Yeah.
No, I want to
Shall we
be.
shag now?
I want to talk about this one because I feel like with Wes, it's okay. I know it's hard.
It isn't. That's the problem.
Wes Anderson, as a great of an auteur he is, I love that we're talking about these films like his sophomore and then jumping into his junior film because
Yeah.
we're seeing the sides of him as it was developing and it was maturing.
Yeah.
You see so much of that in Rushmore and you see so much of like the charm that he's trying to build up
in
to.
real time too,
Yes.
right? Because like we started literally. Well, we didn't start with Bottle Rocket, but we started with Rushmore. This one, Darjeeling.
This is
Yes.
the next one.
is the next one, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna kind of
We're gonna get this end cap to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I think we're also gonna talk about French Dispatch.
we are gonna talk about French.
We're getting
Dispatch.
the end cap like towards the beginning though.
Yeah, I know, but
Because
it's,
last
Because somebody
you guys
didn't want to fucking agree to put it at the end.
Wait, guys.
No, no, I thought
Didn't
we-
you remember screening Phoenician Scheme last week?
yes, I do.
Yeah.
No, anyway.
Oh, God.
No, but
It was so bad.
Horrible.
I know. No, but
6.5 for Venetian.
oh god. No, but when you see him mature as a filmmaker, I feel like we're starting to see the Wesisms come out in Rushmore, and I feel like a lot of the Wesisms for character come out through Max's character, right? And we see that character mature and grow
100%.
in like all of his other films because they all basically become
Jason
Max
Schwartz.
in their like mannerisms, in like their eloquence, the way that they present themselves, even if it's a nonsensical scheme.
Right.
Or a Phoenician scheme.
I thought you were gonna go there. I thought you were gonna
Yeah.
go there.
Alley-oop. There is a basketball reference in Phoenician scheme. But
There is the back.
yeah,
the
it's
backhand.
like no, but
The
I
Bryan
feel like
Cranston
with
one.
this one, to me, I did not see Wes showing off his full potential. I saw somebody who still was learning not how to write story or how to like direct composition, because I started seeing a lot of those Wesisms come out here, but I think this is the first time he worked with a real ensemble.
So you think?
And I think that that was probably a big challenge for him because Castro brought up a good point, and he'll talk more about it right now. But that a lot of the characters, their delivery was very flat. And sure, we can talk about the fact that maybe their delivery.
Oh no, I have
is,
a great idea theory for this.
Yeah, their delivery is a reflection of like the fact that all of them are going through something and are very reserved. But I also feel like Wes has shown people who are reserved in like stuff like Asteroid City that they're all holding something
talking about
back, but they all feel like unique characters and they're all given their space to kind of breathe. But in this one, you're
I'll piggyback
yeah.
off that before you expand on the idea, because I think you're right about Wes finding his voice, and you start seeing all this. You start seeing the trajectory. What I think happened, and forgive me for any Wes Anderson fan that doesn't agree. I think
why we do this.
I think what happened was Rushmore put Wes on the map.
Yeah,
in a crazy
absolutely.
way, and he was getting like comments from his heroes about like being a talented filmmaker. And I think you get to Royal Tenenbaums and you start being so secure in your voice that you know what you want to head to, and instead of taking steps the way you've been taking steps, you try to
Yeah.
get to the end.
yeah, because
And I think
felt
that's
like,
what Royal Tenenbaums is. It's like you haven't developed what you're trying to do yet. So
yeah,
give it a couple more films and then you'll be able to do an Asteroid City. You know what I'm saying? But
Exactly, because-
Tenenbaums just felt like, oh, I know, I'm good. I know what I'm doing now. Cool, poof. And it felt
It was a lot, and
Yeah.
it just to me. I was telling Castro, I like at the halfway point we paused the film, and I was saying, to me, this just feels like an unpolished Wes.
Yeah.
You know, this feels it's, and he was like, well, what do you mean? Like, it's bad? I'm like, no, it just feels like you haven't gotten to the gem yet.
Yeah.
You know, like you already know what it is. It's peeking out.
It's
but,
taking shape.
It's taking shape. But I would have loved to have seen him direct this same film right now.
Yeah.
Because right now he's so much more mature as a filmmaker.
But we didn't touch on the. What do you think it wasn't polished?
I'm
I'm thinking like, is it the dialogue? 'Cause maybe some dialogues would kind of linger.
I mean, I think
the
this.
cuts.
I think
But
this
I want to
film.
see what you're saying. Like,
I think this film had a lot of problems.
really?
I think one of the. I don't know if this is how we want to kick off, but I think one of the biggest problems this film had, with the exception of Gene Hackman, I think this film was grossly miscasted.
Why?
I think it's just Wes being like, I got juice now. Let me just get a bunch of my buddies in roles they don't belong in.
Dude, I completely agree. I was
And-
gonna say,
But why? Why do you think like?
Well, like
Ben
as
Stiller
an
didn't-
example, right? Let's use some of the main ones.
Yeah, Ben Stiller or Gwyneth Paltrow. Who?
Gwyneth Paltrow was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow was pretty spot on. She was good. And I don't like her very much. So for me to say that is a lot. I think, for instance, the Owen Wilson and the Luke Wilson roles should have been flipped. I think Luke should have played the friend across the street, and I think Owen should have played the depressed.
We
and
know
if
Owen.
you-
We know who Owen
No, no,
is.
no.
He's the spark.
We
plug.
didn't know yet.
yeah.
We
if
didn't
you
know
look
Owen
at-
like that. Owen's the co-writer on this film.
If
we
you
didn't-
look at Owen in, we're gonna talk about Darjeeling
Totally
Limited.
okay.
If you look at Owen in Darjeeling Limited, he plays that broken character, and
Oh.
he's so much more impactful.
And I also
So much
think,
more impactful.
unfortunately, granted, this was before the whole incident happened, but
You don't think? Okay, so, just to get it clear,
Yeah.
you don't think it's the performances, right? It's gonna be
No,
something
I
else.
think they're just miscast.
Okay.
I
That's
think
okay.
I think even Ben Stiller doesn't belong there. I don't
Why?
think
Why
Ben
though?
Stiller
Why?
did-
Why?
I don't think he brought anything to that role. I don't. I think.
And
I
in what terms? I really want to get down to it. And what, like, obviously we know Ben Stiller because he's, he's a
Yeah.
comedic, he's a little loose. But in this one, he was
You know what
restrained.
I saw?
What did you see?
Like genuinely,
I really want to.
I saw Ben Stiller's character in Tropic Thunder.
What?
Yeah.
Comment how ridiculous that sounds. What do you mean?
I saw because when he's
Not even close.
He's playing like the different parts, right? The dramatic, the action. Like it feels like an actor acting. It feels like an actor playing a role. It doesn't feel like this role was made for him. It doesn't feel like he belongs in this.
I think this was like the perfect. You know how like certain actors want to get away from comedy,
Yeah.
and he kind of gets into this one. I think Wes Anderson told him to play it restraint, and that's what I got through the whole thing, right? Because the whole thing with his wife and his 2 kids, he's being very protective. I feel like he was playing that close fist,
close. Yeah.
close fist, and at the end he kind of releases it.
I mean,
I
in
just
the
don't-
ambulance, right? In the ambulance, it's an interesting moment for his character, but it
in
also
the
feels
feels.
quiet
bad.
moments. But I mean, whenever you see him like talk and all that, I agree to you. I don't see. See, the weird thing about Ben Stiller's character is that he's supposed to be playing an adult who has kids, but he himself is still a child when he interacts with his family.
That's what this whole film is. It's
Yeah.
a film of these kids who didn't have a proper upbringing, seeing them as adults and how that upbringing affected
and how
them.
they're acting like children, even though
Yeah.
when they were children, they were
Well,
acting
can I
like
give you my
adults.
theory?
Yes.
I guess it's kind of early, but can I give you my theory about the whole 17?
Sure.
I feel like everybody peaked when Gene Hackman left. That's why everybody's still wearing the same clothes. This guy's still wearing the same headband.
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow just stopped writing.
Right.
So I think like they got frozen in time,
Okay.
and I feel like Gene Hackman's character was the chaos that needed to be brought into the whole.
I fucks with it.
You know what I mean?
Totally fucks with that
So
theory.
those 17 years that you didn't kind of like, it's the time that he left.
Yeah.
Left everybody, like in a whole like, whoa, what happened? So I think everybody got stuck on that.
You know,
That's-
also,
I'm with it. I'm with that theory.
And what I'm saying is like when you say Ben Stiller didn't really bring anything to it, it's like that's what Wes Anderson does. You give him a character that
You know who I think would have been an interesting person to play the role, and Wes has worked with him later on, is
Jeez.
the guy from The Office, Steve Carell. I feel like Steve Carell would have been
Oh,
somebody
he would have
who,
been fantastic in that
yeah,
role.
he would
wouldn't
have
been too much.
No,
Have you
no,
seen,
because
like,
I can see him, like, especially when you see him, like, in The Office, like, the poutier kind of moods where it's, like, a kid not getting what he wants, but being a very serious adult. Because when you see Ben Stiller's character, he's a businessman, he's a business owner, he is, like, always trying to be proactive, always trying to be on top of it. But then when he has to interact with his family, he's, like, a toddler, like, that doesn't get what he wants. And even the way he asks his questions and everything, and I could see...
Well, like Carell and Last Flag Flying, for instance.
yeah.
Have you guys seen
Last
that?
Flag Flying.
Did a film with Lawrence Fishburne. I forget the other actor. It might have been Steve Buscemi.
Oh wow.
Or
I mean,
maybe I think
I
Steve
thought I was
Buscemi.
thinking. No.
It's a Richard Linklater film about a guy who has to take a cross country trip to bring his son back home to bury him, and he's like in the military and shit. Like that's
Yeah,
why it's
yeah.
called Last
Yeah.
Flag Flying. But seeing Steve Carell do that, kind of be the mournful guy, but still joking around
Still
with like his
kinda
friends
had that
and stuff. Like, oh, it's Bryan Cranston. It's Bryan Cranston, not Steve Buscemi. Bryan Cranston, Lawrence Fishburne, and Steve Carell.
Gotta check that one out.
This Last Black Flying. And
Oh, I've seen the picture for sure.
yeah, and it's if you see Steve Carell in that capacity, and he's a father, and he's mourning his kid, and he doesn't know how to deal with that.
But I think you're missing.
Yeah.
He doesn't have, even though we didn't know about The Office, he doesn't have that hidden anger, just in the
Carell?
eye.
Yes.
Dude,
No, he doesn't.
40-year-old virgin.
He wasn't. There was nothing.
There was no anger in 40-year-old virgin.
No, he was kind of like that guy that just
I think you could see a lot of
loser
that.
kind of.
But he's angry at the entire situation.
No.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much pent-up aggression in Andy, the 40-year-old virgin.
Do you agree with this?
I
Yes,
do
like,
completely.
he's
yeah,
just like-
because later on, like
he's nothing like
dude,
that.
after the
Call me-
facade, no,
Dude,
no.
when he like
When the
he's driving-
facade breaks down
Yes.
and he has to like be honest with like his life and all
Bag
that
of
stuff.
sand.
Yeah.
The bike ride home after the bag of sand scene. Bag of sand, you
But that, but still wasn't like it was still Carell. It wasn't like
Dude, I feel like you're getting just as much of that like reserved anger from Carell as you would be getting from like Ben Stiller. But I think with Ben Stiller, there's too much. I think he just plays it too comedically, and I don't feel like that's benefiting this West film.
Okay,
Even though this is like you could say a lot of West films are like comedies.
Like his facial expressions were borderline Zoolander. Is it Zoolander? Zoolander,
yeah, because
they were
you know what,
Zoolander,
the
dude.
scene where
He was more restrained.
the scene where you see him waking up his kids, that's when he's probably at his best in the movie. But we don't need that character the whole time. We need somebody who plays a little bit more straight. Because look at the ensemble he's playing with. Everybody else, I think, is doing that reserved, held back. You know,
I like when Ben Stiller plays. He does films with Greta Gerwig's husband, the co-writer of Barbie.
I don't know who
the director of Marriage Story. Gosh, how am I blanking on his name?
Matthew Libatique.
No, that's the DP.
If only we had an intern.
I forget his name. Gosh, it'll come back to me. But
yeah.
Noah Baumbach. When Ben Stiller plays, when Adam Sandler plays with Noah Baumbach, and they do films like the Meyerowitz stories. I don't know if you guys caught that on Netflix.
Yes, I was thinking about that one.
Oh, gosh,
Yeah.
man. Like, that's a family dynamic story, similar to Tenenbaums. But Ben Stiller's character, man, is so much more grounded and talk about
And real.
restraint and real. And it just feels, and I understand. I think we're both saying the same thing. But I think we're all saying the same thing.
Y'all are forgetting it's the Wes Anderson.
No, exactly. But that's what we're saying. Wes Anderson, I don't think was at a point in his career yet where he was able to tell such a complex story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he went from Rushmore, extremely complex story, but with less characters, less things to do. You know what I'm saying? Less layers, to be honest with you. And this was as much of a layered story as like Asteroid City. And I just don't think he was there yet.
And the ensemble is so
Which
strong.
affected Ben Stiller's just.
It affects the whole film.
Yeah.
It affects the whole film.
You look at the ensemble that he's working with here. I mean, somebody like Bill Murray. Bill Murray's character was good, but he was underutilized, and even the scenes that he was
But
utilized.
you a Wes Anderson fanatic.
Yes.
That's his deadpan comedy that I bet you he told him.
No,
that's cute.
but the thing is that like
No, but that's literally like, what do you want?
I genuinely wish, and I understand Gene Hackman did a great job. Don't get me wrong.
We've never seen Bill
I
Murray.
genuinely wish Bill Murray would have played the Gene Hackman role.
and I think he got that. He got that later on
Would've been
from
interesting.
Life Aquatic.
Or French Dispatch.
Yes.
He comes out of French Dispatch, Bill Murray.
Bill Murray's he's not the lead as much as like the catalyst.
Yeah, he's the center of the story. But it's an anthology. But I mean, when you see like Life Aquatic, that's when he's getting the most out of Bill Murray.
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean,
And
you
this
know,
one, no.
Rushmore.
Yeah, this one, no.
and when you see like,
Rushmore.
and again, we're gonna watch Darjeeling Limited. That's when he's getting the most out of like Owen Wilson.
Yes.
I feel like this
And
just
Brody. Well, Brody might have gotten more out of Brody from Asteroid City, but
Adrian Brody.
yeah.
I think you got more out of him later on, but I think you got a lot from him in Darjeeling. And then you built up that relationship, because I was even thinking a lot of the characters that I see here, I don't see him repeating in his other films.
Let me toss this out there.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson, obviously his closest collaborators since day one.
Yeah.
Number one, this was his last film he ever did with Luke Wilson.
Really?
I don't know why.
He started doing these weird ass.
Like Idiocracy?
And.
Well, I mean, but that's like the
stoner
film
one.
he's the most famous for. Did Old School come after this or before this? Before this, probably 99, maybe. Feels like a 99 film.
Yeah, and then
because Luke 2003.
2003.
So after this, so Luke was going the mainstream comedy route. Mainstream
No, well, not
comedy
even
route.
comedy though.
Ben Stiller went that route too, by the way.
But Luke Wilson went a little bit more the comedy route. I think Owen Wilson went a little bit more the comedy route. Luke went.
I think both of them did. And then you say like me and the law were laughing. He's like. When Ben
it's
Stiller's
like why are
character,
Starsky and Hutch fighting each
yeah,
other?
why are Starsky and Hutch like fighting, and it's fucking Ben Stiller and
Yeah,
Owen
yeah,
Wilson
yeah.
like going at it. But anyways,
I'm
bringing
seen a
it
lot
up.
of experimental films with Luke, where it's like,
Well, I'm bringing it up because Luke. I don't know if you guys knew this. This came much later. This came in like around 2006, 2007. Owen Wilson tried to kill himself.
oh yeah.
Like he actually tried to commit suicide.
It was between like Meet the Fuckers and something, right? Where
I think it was right before that.
Something like
it was
that,
like Meet. Yeah, maybe it was right.
Somewhere
Meet the
around
Fuckers.
there.
It was 06, 07.
It's Meet the Fuckers, guys.
Meet the Fuckers.
what did I say?
Meet the Fuckers.
Meet them fuckers.
Meet them fuckers. But Owen Wilson tried to kill himself, and he went into like a spiral of depression because he was dating, was it Kate Hudson, I think.
Oh, that's what happened.
And then Kate Hudson left him, and he just like went
I
down
never knew
downward
why it
spiral.
happened. Oh, shit.
And Luke Wilson.
I mean, that ass.
Luke Wilson. By the way, I've just recently discovered that Kate Hudson's parents are
Goldie
fucking
Hawn and Kurt Russell.
And Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Like, what
Wow.
the fuck?
What do you think that ass
I
came
did.
from?
From
Kurt
Kurt
Russell.
Russell. That's Kurt Russell's
That's
ass.
what I meant.
What that thing
Luke
do?
Wilson got extremely depressed as well. Luke Wilson like gained a shitload of weight, and so did Owen. Like,
Wow,
like
I've never seen
Like
Luke-
he got depressed. Luke Wilson got depressed because his brother almost fucking killed himself.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say with that is that they had some of that in them always. I saw that since Bottle Rocket. To
Some of
see,
what,
like
some of what?
Owen Wilson as the broken character. Because
okay,
we're
okay.
so used to seeing Wedding Crashers Owen Wilson. That's what we grew up on.
Yeah.
So we think Owen Wilson Wedding Crashers, you know? But Owen Wilson, when you see him in shit like Bottle Rocket or like Darjeeling Limited, or even like when he did fucking Woody Allen pictures, Midnight in Paris,
Oh, yeah.
and Cafe Society. Like when Owen Wilson works with the right storyteller and he's placed in this
Marley
like
and Me.
Marley and Me, like
that one made
complex
me
kind of
cry.
broken character
I
that
cried
has
on
to
that.
come out at the end. I bring up his suicide because though it was after, wouldn't it, you know, flipping those two roles, knowing that now, Owen Wilson trying to kill
But
himself.
too real.
And I know.
You
but-
wouldn't
but
want that.
It just feels like
Well, I mean,
that role was
No,
More appropriate for Owen
Meet
Wilson.
the fuckers, Luke, Owen Wilson.
no.
Come on, man, you gotta beat
Meet
that
the
out.
Fockers. Also,
What?
Ben
What?
Stiller in Meet the Parents and Meet the Fockers and stuff. Like again, that's who we think about.
Yeah, that's not what we got here, bro.
Exact. It's
but-
even his role in Meet the Fockers or Meet the Parents. It's almost more grounded.
but that's where I kind of thought when you look at it as filmography wise.
Yeah.
I don't think that Wes was ready to carry this ensemble. I think
Yeah.
that he was given a lot of trust because it's like you obviously have a really stylized
Yeah.
perspective on film, and that's where we were even talking. Like he basically busted out all these ideas. Like, oh man, I would love to do intros this way, where you show the character and the name comes down here.
Narrator.
And then, yeah, the narrator is constantly popping out, and like he had all these ideas, and you could see the maximum of like Wes's potential, but I feel like he was probably still young,
Yeah.
and in trying to direct all these characters, I feel like at some point, even looking at all these different characters, it's overwhelming on like how do you direct them all to feel unique? And the only way you get those unique elements and the characters in the story is from the dialogue. The dialogue is where you learn everything
Yeah.
about these characters. Gene Hackman's performance was fantastic for like portraying his character, but I don't feel like he knew yet how to bring the unique qualities out of everybody else's character till they would have an impactful like visual scene.
I feel like
I see what you're saying.
I read that the mom character, she was terrific too.
She was good, yeah.
She comes out in Life Aquatic.
They specifically wrote the Gene Hackman character and her character for them.
Okay.
Like Wes wrote it for them.
I still see it for Gene Hackman.
The there's a lot of stories about this set.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Corral told us part of it that Gene Hackman hated working on this production, and I bring that up because how is it that that's the most authentic performance we get of the whole film?
But that's usually how it works, right? Like
Is it?
that's usually where the magic happens when like two guys are clashing and they
No,
meet
but
up
I
in the
mean,
middle.
It kind of shows you that I think
That
in
that
some
wasn't
ways I feel
Wes's
like
doing.
yeah, I feel like in some ways it was punching above the belt, you know, like it was
It wasn't Wes's doing. You're gonna get an experienced actor like Gene Hackman,
Right?
even if you know he's gonna be an asshole on set and he's gonna be a dick to you. He knew that this was one of his last performances, so he knew he was gonna bring his A game. I don't necessarily think that's Wes is doing.
You think
Yeah.
that's all.
I think that's just Gene Hackman being a good actor.
Gene Hackman.
You
and
know?
I think the role itself is good. I think a lot of these roles are good.
They're all good.
They're all good roles, but I don't think that Wes brought everybody out,
Yeah.
you know?
I agree with you to a certain point, but I just think Ben pulled it off. Gene Hackman pulled it off. Gwyneth Paltrow, just not saying a lot, but
Luke?
I think Luke was one of the hearts of this film, dude.
The character is interesting. The character, I forget the character's name. but the character is very
Eli, I think.
interesting. He's a very interesting character. It's like this tennis player, and again, these three kind of main characters,
Especially
there's
the mirror
technically
scene.
The three characters are these child prodigies, right? And
Right.
that's the already pressure built up into these characters.
exactly.
And then he goes off and plays tennis, and then he like throws his last tennis game, and I think the character is very interesting. I don't think Luke Wilson offered anything to that character.
Yeah.
Same with Ben Stiller. Same with Owen. I think Owen's character, like Owen as an actor and Owen playing the Eli Cash character, it was in the third act that I was like, oh, that's cool. That's interesting. He wanted to be part of the family. That's why he's famous and he's giving these interviews, but he was just the kid across the street who always wanted to be a Tenenbaum. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I appreciated that. I could see Owen bringing something to that in the third act. I couldn't see Luke or Ben Stiller bringing anything to the roles.
Don't you feel like
they were taking.
here's the thing, Castro, and it's not to say that they're bad actors
No, not at all,
or anything.
Just
but
miscast it.
don't you feel like you could do like a plug and play with different actors in this film, and the film would have still worked out, and the care you have for those characters would have still worked out because like actions in the movie, dialogue, like everything's there that it'll work.
Yeah.
But the actors themselves weren't, and I'll blame Wes on this one. I don't think given enough to pull out their performances, their maximum. You know,
Gene
But it's 'cause
Hackman and Angelica
you say all
Houston.
this, but then I feel like you get lost of what Wes Anderson films are.
No. Because
They're just supposed. They're not supposed to. They're just supposed to play the character.
That's
to
the
make the
problem.
whole
The
novel,
problem
the
is
whole-
that I think if we depend too much on the fact that like, but it's a Wes Anderson film, we're gonna forgive a lot of stuff that we shouldn't.
and I've seen him do.
Because you pawn it off on his quirkiness, or you pawn it off on the characters being these deadpan whatever characters. But you can't just always pawn it off on that. I mean, we had this conversation with French Dispatch too, that like a lot of that fell into some characters that were like, I don't know,
And the
that
thing
feel
is,
right?
Okay, well, let's
Yeah.
talk about Owen Wilson's character. That's the one I kind of alienate a lot. What was wrong with his character,
Nothing. That's what I just said.
or,
I think
or his performance? I guess.
for his performance,
well-
I think there was supposed to be subtleties that he's like heavily into drugs, and
Yeah.
I feel like you never knew it
Until the car crash.
up until the scene where a bunch of drugs are in front of him. And not to say that that's bad, but I also feel like there's more you could have done for you. There's more you could have given to the actor to say like certain mannerisms or certain ticks or certain something, as opposed to like I just have to show it to you there.
So you're saying it's Wes Anderson's direction?
It's Wes Anderson's direction.
they're not bad actors. None of these
The
guys
way
are
I
bad
took
actors.
Owen Wilson's character is, I think, my thought of what Wes Anderson's character is that he's kind of a parody of success and identity.
Yeah.
And Luke Wilson, have we seen? He pulls that off so beautifully, and I think like Wes Anderson was like, "Yo, tone it down to my style," and that's Owen Wilson. That's Owen Wilson.
Out of curiosity, do you feel like you've ever seen a movie?
Owen Wilson is always that confident guy with no.
And
just-
you know, there are moments where I see that, especially like when he's talking to everybody and he's like all
Yeah.
flashy and everything.
Yeah.
Those moments are great, but
I still didn't feel like with Owen Wilson's
But-
character, the whole drug addict thing. Like, I didn't. I don't know. I guess you had to really care about the character. Even where like the drugs are in front of him and he's by these weird guys and he's acting the way he's acting. It's like, we're taking you in, and he said
Wes
like,
Anderson
"Is
has
it
been
just you
banned
two?"
just-
Again, we know that now, but let's say you had only ever seen everything up until that point of Wes Anderson. Let's say you had never seen anything after this
Okay.
film. You didn't know that was Wes Anderson. Would you judge it on the same metrics?
That's interesting.
You know what I mean? If
I
you saw
feel
this
like-
as a standalone film and you didn't know the director and you didn't know that this was his style or this was going to become his style,
Okay, I see
you're
what you're
looking at this and you're kind of like,
this would have stayed in the same vein as like all those weird indie darlings like Napoleon Dynamite
Yeah.
and Juno. Like it would have stayed in that weird pocket where you're just like, oh, okay, you want to see this quirky indie film I just got off Blockbuster?
and you'll
like,
say, it was good, but I don't know. There was
but
something
it's
about
not.
it.
It's not. It doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
You know.
So okay, let's talk about the one that you did like, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah.
Shinny douche.
But that was so good for her
Yeah,
character.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here's
but
the.
where we-
you want to know something that's going to shatter the glass?
Yes, I want it.
Give it to her.
Ben Stiller and Gwyneth Paltrow already had a substantial following at this point, right?
Yeah.
I think Gwyneth Paltrow was already with Brad Pitt, and that time.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
she was in the spotlight.
Brad
What
Pitt,
drew the entire cast to this film was the fact that Gene Hackman signed on to do it. That's what did it. Like, they didn't.
He had the most.
He had the juice.
Oh, dang.
Wes Anderson didn't have the juice yet. He had done well and he was on the map with Rushmore, but getting Gene Hackman, an actor who's virtually retired already, or at least on his last legs, but he was a big name.
What was the budget for this? My bad.
For instance, like the whole thing with Gene Hackman is that they paid him scale plus 10%, which is nothing.
Yeah.
It's 60 grand and whatever. And he wasn't very happy about that, but he signed on to do the film because he thought
21 million.
21 million. For an ensemble like this, that's low, right?
Yeah.
So I'm bringing up Gene Hackman because the names had a lot to. This is what's going to shatter the glass. They had to schedule the entire film around Gwyneth Paltrow and Ben Stiller's schedule.
Okay.
And they're the ones that are in the film the least.
Okay.
And they're the characters who do the least.
But
it's the subtext of their characters that drive the other characters forward.
Yeah.
It's the subtext of Ben Stiller's character and what happened with his wife and the absence of his father that drives Gene Hackman's character, that he's not getting through to this one. It's Gwyneth Paltrow's character, who was always considered the outsider. She's the adoptive one, and that's a recurring theme. Like, my dad didn't care. He wasn't really my dad anyways. Did it ever matter? And that character... How is a character like that, like you guys were saying, they're all stuck in time, right? How is a character like that ever going to grow if that's going to be her continuous, like, identity? I'm an orphan.
Also,
They were nice enough to adopt me. They had money, but they even didn't consider me their daughter. So what's the point of having any kind of arc? What's the point of having any kind of growth? Where she finds her arc is in the love story.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't you also feel, and I don't know if it was just me, the end of the movie, Gene Hackman redemption segment, or
there was 10 redemption moments in this fucking picture for that character.
I don't like it.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Like, to me, the one that felt like the weirdest was the divorce papers and the skip and getting on the bus.
That was the only one. I like the other ones, but that one was weird.
And that was the main one.
That was supposed to be the biggest one. That was supposed to be the big,
that was
boom.
weird.
That leads to a wedding.
Yeah, like, oh, I finally divorced you. Have a happy relationship. And
I
then,
like your building, but
yeah. I don't.
There's no meaning. Like, maybe.
No, and to me, I really, when I look at a lot of these moments, to me, they don't feel like the fault of the actors. They don't feel like the fault of the cinematographer.
No.
It, to me, and I say this as the biggest Wes fan.
Yeah.
I just feel like this is where he showed he was very young in his filmography.
That's fine. It's justifiable.
How?
It's his junior film.
It's justifiable now. But if,
that's
again,
true.
If you're like I feel like us, right? We constantly get friends who come to us who are new in the game and like, hey, can you screen my film or can you read my script? And usually you'll read, like, let's say I don't want to use specific examples, but we get a friend or a peer.
Confidant.
Let's use the word peer, because they may just be somebody who's trying to start out and needs an opinion on something.
We get a lot of them.
And then we screen their film, and then we say one of two things. If we're being honest with ourselves, we say it's too green. The kid's too green. He's still got a lot to grow. He'll figure it out.
Yeah. Lawrence. Whoa.
What the fuck?
My bad.
Or we say, or we say like, oh, they're young. Like, not that they're inexperienced, but they're young. They don't have a lot of life yet.
You're still a kid.
Yeah, you're still a kid. You're still figuring it out. Usually we either dismiss it or we allow them to be in that stage in their careers, and we're kind of just like, it's all right, kid. Like, don't worry, you'll get there. It'll be okay.
You're supposed to say that.
But you're kind of dismissive about it.
Yeah.
And I think that if we didn't know Wes, we watch this film and we'd say, he's a young director who just premiered at whatever Sundance.
Spent $40 million.
At $21 million, but
$21 million.
Yeah,
but
and
I think if we were anybody, I think if paying attention to somebody like Jason Reitman doing Juno, I think Juno has a lot more to say than this film. But that's just me. But you're paying attention to a young director, and you kind of start seeing their trajectory, and you're like, one day this kid's gonna have something to
Yeah,
say.
that's what I'm getting. Yeah, for sure.
Like same with Juno, right? Like if I'm watching Juno and I'm like, oh, that's great, that was cute, and and mind you, the caveat is that we're as experienced or as well versed cinephiles as we are now, right? Judging films like that. Like if Juno came out this year and then I'm like, oh man, that director's gonna have something to say soon, and then they make Up in the Air.
Yeah.
you love
And
that.
you're
And-
like, whoa,
no, and you know what it is?
all right.
To me,
He's arrived.
I feel like this is the effect that people have when they think about when they first watched this. Because you said you first watched it in theaters, and like at that time, or like when it came out, it
loved
was
it.
like, hey, great.
And anybody who's told me that, who's told me like, yo, your love is gonna be your favorite film, they watched it when they were kids.
Yeah, they watched it when they were young, and I
Yeah.
feel like if I was younger and wasn't as much of a well-versed cinephile, and also
Right.
as much of a well-versed like Wes fan,
Yeah.
I would have looked at it and probably been like, "This is awesome!" Like he does
Yeah,
these
right.
weird movements. It's so different, and the way he gets out of it. But like,
That's
I
me. That's me
love,
right now.
I love that we're doing a tour month because it forces us to be retrospective in thinking of their filmography. And
that's why I love this.
that's wonderful because
Yes.
I think all of our heroes, in seeing them in this way, we're able to be honest and say we love them. And
I also don't know,
But we're able to critique
unless
them.
you're like older than 30, right? I also don't know filmmakers or cinephiles
yeah
who start with Wes, being exposed to like Tenenbaums or being exposed to Rushmore. I feel like most Wes people get exposed to Grand Budapest or Fantastic Mr. Fox or something like that, and then they backtrack.
yeah.
And I'm wondering if you started as a kid and you kind of got
No,
into
but-
I wonder how new cinephiles feel about this film. I wonder if they feel the same way that you're saying, like, oh, that was awesome, that was cool.
To me, I got the indie effect because especially with the music and everything like that, I got the Juno,
Yeah.
Nick Norris Infinite Playlist.
Yeah.
I got that feel.
But correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. It's because this film has just been so built up for us.
Yeah.
Like for me,
Now
for
we're
you,
insulted.
Now we're like, what the fuck
Yeah,
is
how
this?
dare you?
But I
How dare you, madam?
Granted, the films that you just listed, I watched early in my cinephile journey. I felt much more reward. I felt so much more fulfilled
Yeah.
after watching Nick
Yeah.
and Nora or Juno.
Yeah, because I
Nick and
mean,
Nora's playlist, fuck
like
yeah.
I'll say this, I think the themes of a broken family that were tackled in even just his next film
Yeah.
hit me so
Darjeeling.
much harder. Yeah.
That's a recurring theme, right? Now we're paying attention. It's like sibling or broken families.
Yeah,
or-
broken families, sibling, a lot of sibling stuff.
Yeah.
But you
A
see a broken family there. You see it in Moonrise Kingdom. You'll see it in
Grand
Life
Budapest.
Aquatic, Grand Budapest. And in those ones, when he explores those themes, I think they feel so much more grounded. And I think,
And if they don't feel grounded, they feel like there's a magical realism to them.
yeah,
Like Grand Budapest, that's why I love Grand Budapest. They're grounded themes. They're very heavy topics. They're commentary on a lot of societal aspects, but there's a beautiful magical realism that.
and look at the way he
yeah,
re-explores the stuff. Even like the whole bellboy, the whole like Gene Hackman has a monologue in this movie where he says, "Well, I just wanted to do this to prove that I could pick myself back up. That I can do it on my own accord. That nobody's gonna stop me. And hey, once we get unionized, I'll make a little bit more money and all that kind of stuff." But like then he re-explores that in Grand Budapest as somebody who their goal is just to be a bellboy and to be the person who's able to like work in an establishment is this big overarching goal. And he's redeeming his family and his lineage and the people that didn't get to go beyond that. Like, I mean, it's re-explored there. The sibling thing later on when he explores it in Darjeeling, it's so much more grounded. You feel the tugs and the separation, but the genuine love for each other.
There's also a lot of narrative, and we'll talk about this when we talk about Darjeeling, but there's a lot of narrative
Next one.
Tools that Wes Anderson knew how to use at this point.
Yeah.
Because the narrative tool that's simple. You would think on paper it's simple, and you would always almost think it like a dirty word or like a cliche. The fact that there's a train, a moving object pushing the film forward almost as a plot device, that's a tool. That's a really good tool if you know how to use it properly.
Yeah.
If you use it like a cliche, it's going to be a cliche. But Wes to say like this, it's going to be a moving train. There's going to be progress. We're going to go from destination A, B to C. and I'm gonna use that to explore my characters on where they are in point A, where they are in point B, and where they are in point C.
Even Wes's use of the chapters.
This was pointless to me. The
Yeah,
chapters.
the new chapters, at least when you see him in his new films,
Yes.
they're so much punchier because you feel like this progression through the story. Like
it
the
also
act
felt,
one,
wasn't
act
it
two
more
of the play.
effective in Rushmore?
Yes.
The chapter thing was more effective in
because
Rushmore.
because
Yeah, no.
Max was always obsessed with like plays and like that whole concept of like in the first act he feels like he's on top of the world. The second act he's trying to like redeem himself. In the third act he actually has to like
that
go
was
through.
way more
Yeah.
effective than
But
chapter
this
1 through 6.
Yeah, no, all the chapters in this one I felt like it didn't like to me the film blended together. I really can't pinpoint after watching it the first time when one chapter began and one chapter ended. All I really remember is the last one because it had Gene Hackman's face and then it was when he died. But that's it. And all the other ones were just these blurs.
I'll tell you, I know we're like, it kind of feels like we're shitting on the film, but I'll tell you one thing
just
that
angry.
I liked.
Happy birthday.
I liked, I like that we've been talking about Wes in this chaos through proper,
yes.
or properness through chaos rather.
Yeah.
And it felt like this was part of that, right? It's this
100%.
proper family, but there's chaos ensues. I like the magic trick of trying to point out or trying to design a facade that this family's rich. They're really not.
Yeah.
Like they're actually not rich. Like the mom's an author and the dad's broke.
The dad's
Like
broke.
they don't have money. They may have had money once upon a time, but they're still acting like they're rich. And he gets kicked out of a hotel because of it.
Yeah.
And I liked that magic trick a lot. That like you're thinking that this family's rich, and by the end you're like, oh, they're just some normal folk dealing with some shit.
Yeah.
Like
that,
they're not
that things higher themselves. You know?
They think higher of themselves. They
Even
think,
like his prized possession was like an encyclopedia set. And it's like, that's cool. Like,
yeah, and he gives it to the kids, which I thought was really cool. But they think they're in higher society, and they're really not.
yeah.
Like they're not anymore. Maybe they were once when they were respected authors or when their kids were geniuses or deemed geniuses. It almost something that's overlooked is what happens when there's a child prodigy or a child actor or whatever, somebody who gets famous as a kid.
Uh-huh.
And they said it in the film. The father becomes the primary signatory.
Oh, yeah.
That means they get the money.
Yeah.
That means that's how they get rich. So that they get rich off their kids' success. And if they did, and once these kids grew up and they had nothing else to offer, that's why the dad leaves. Because he's so used to being a leech off these kids.
yeah.
You think he was that cold?
Yeah. I mean, they even break it down.
I
in,
mean, they all hate him.
Yeah, no, Ben Stiller was like, oh, yeah, when I was 14, he stole all my money and he stole bail bonds and all that. And he kind of like laughed it off. He's like, you know.
I did.
No,
yeah,
and
it's something like,
the thing is, I feel like when you look at the characters and for all the shit we give the film,
Yeah.
it's so, to me, I just felt like
It should be good.
I wish Wes did this later. I wish
yeah,
he took time
yeah.
because it's such a good film. And I love this idea of, the film's named after the dad. I
Yeah.
never knew that until like watching it right now. But
Well, that's an interesting. I thought about this a lot when they were putting him in the ground, right, and the epitaphs and everything. And I thought, oh, that's it. And that wasn't effective, which really bummed me out. I wanted it to work out, which was like the name of the film is the Royal Tenenbaums or Royal Tenenbaums, an S meaning plural,
yeah.
right? And that's the name of the main character, Royal Tenenbaum. But this isn't. It may not be an exploration of unity, but it may be an exploration of the words royal and the last name Tenenbaums.
Okay.
This family is Tenenbaums, and they see themselves as higher society, royal.
I kind of had that
Yeah.
in my head,
But
didn't even explore it though.
all of that is like that's a cool little theory, but it's shattered when like you accept. Maybe you accept. I don't quite accept it. I want to accept it. That this character, Royal Tenenbaum, united his family again before. It was the last thing he did before he died, and
Well,
they're for the Royal Tenenbaums.
no, and
I don't know. I'm
I just-
trying.
it's there. I mean, it's not a
It's there.
reach. It's there.
it's there. It's just I think there's too much to chew over and play
Yeah.
with. Like the fact that we're dealing with as much as we've been shitting on the film, when you break down each of the elements,
The opposite,
very
I mean,
interesting to explore.
They're all great ingredients. It's
Yeah.
just when he mixed them all together, it's just
But just like Delal's been saying it's his
Like
junior
Oreos
film.
on a
You-
pizza.
You could appreciate it from that aspect.
I'm agree.
You guys
I
are
think
seeing
we're
it
both
from-
just upset at other cinephiles we respect telling us like, yo,
No, but
bullshit.
you guys are also
You're
upset
full
that-
of shit. Oscar, I'm talking to you.
Oscar. No, but he's saying that he should have just done this one a little later in his
I
career.
agree.
Yes.
I
But
agree
that's easy to
wholeheartedly.
say. That this was one that he had to do to get to where he's at in his career. That's where I'm seeing it. In the
What did
Yeah.
he do after Darjeeling? Was it Grand Budapest?
I thought he did Steve Zissou.
No, he jumped to. Oh, you're right. No, Steve Zissou was before Darjeeling. No, I feel like Steve was this after this
not
one.
really.
Yeah, Life Aquatic. Another one I felt
Okay.
underwhelmed about.
Yeah.
I feel like this after this is
Really?
Steve Zissou. I will say I do feel like there's a, and I know Wes Anderson.
Yeah, it's Life Aquatic. After.
Life Aquatic after this, right? That sounds right. That sounds right because I felt
It's
just as
Life Aquatic
underwhelmed.
and then
Really?
Darjeeling after that.
After what?
After Life Aquatic, Darjeeling.
Okay,
And-
that makes sense.
So did you feel more
You felt-
underwhelmed with Life of Aquatic or this one?
Probably Life Aquatic.
Really?
And that was after this one.
I
right?
feel like stylistically he's coming into his own. And
I like Life Aquatic.
I didn't love it. I didn't
I didn't love it, but I like the style.
My point is that I had the similar feeling of like, why is everybody losing the shit over this one? Because there's fans out there that love Life Aquatic.
Yeah.
Austin's one of them.
I love it.
I will say this.
I love that.
I know that Wes Anderson fans hate to hear this. And I don't understand why. It just feels like a dirty word for everybody to love Grand Budapest Hotel. But I feel like Wes' dividing line is everything before Grand Budapest and everything after Grand Budapest.
You know why? Because Grand Budapest is the West film, just like
The standard film.
the standard film, like Goodfellas is Scorsese's.
Right.
Pulp Fiction is.
And I hate to admit it, yeah,
Tarantino's,
that's how I knew
Yeah.
Wes Anderson, The Road Time.
That's why I think a lot of people don't like to say that that's their favorite.
Oh, it's because I think that there's like some like highlights, but I do think that you're right. When you hit Grand Budapest, I think he's refined himself. I think he's really refined himself.
Everything Wes after Grand Budapest you can't say is a bad film.
Yes. And everything before, you can see pockets and you can find your favorites in there, but he still has like maturing to do. Because the last thing he did before Grand Budapest was Fantastic Mr. Fox, right? And that one was his exploration of like, I have full control over everything.
Yeah.
Let me see what I can do with that. So I feel like that one, and then the second you hit Grand Budapest, now it's like, now you just got to keep working on making good stories. And
Everything he learned from making animated film,
Stop
he
it.
applied
Yes.
to Grand Budapest Hotel. And I'm excited about people like Guillermo del Toro because I don't know if you guys saw the new trailer for Frankenstein. It looks fucking amazing.
Oh.
It looks
I
incredible.
saw stills, yeah.
They released
saw
the trailer
stills.
like yesterday, and it looks incredible. And I bring it up because
Meg says it was great.
what?
Meg said it
Oh,
was
Beck
great.
says the film was great.
Yeah.
The last film that Guillermo del Toro did was Pinocchio, an animated film.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Never seen
imagine
it.
whatever he learned from Pinocchio, taking it and applying it to Frankenstein.
Yes.
That excites
Yeah,
me
absolutely.
so fucking much, man, because you get to use, I forgot who said this. It might have been in the doc we covered, but you get to use all of your senses when it comes to animation, specifically stop motion animation, which is what Wes was doing, which is what Guillermo were doing. You get to use all of your senses. You get to feel the character and touch the rigid elbow and figure out how I'm going to use that.
Damn, that's
You get to use all of your senses. And so when you can apply that on a human model, then tell them, like, no, I need you to
Wow,
position
never
your
seen it like
elbow this
that.
way, and I need you to position
Even
your
when it
forehead
comes
that
to
way.
like designing, I'm gonna use big fancy words, the mise en scène for a film. Like designing the mise en scène in an animated film.
Hey, you just used that recently.
He did.
I like it.
I like
I'm gonna
that
keep.
word. I haven't. I like that he's revisiting it because I remember. I don't know if you felt this way. Have you guys felt this way? When you leave college, you're like mise en scène. I'm not going to use that word because that's what they try to teach us in college. And it's such a school word. And then you mature as a filmmaker and a cinephile, and you're like,
Oh, this fits you.
yeah, mise en scene's kind of
fits
right.
me.
Yeah,
Perfect, right?
like there's no other way that I would want to
Yeah.
describe
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
elements seen in a film than the mise en scène.
Or
But
juxtaposition. Or
yeah,
like these.
dude, I remember like I aced a school paper. Oh man, quick minor deviation.
Yeah.
So I was in documentary cinema. No, I was in documentary cinema with Khan, and then what Khan likes to do as an exercise is she says, "I'm not gonna say who wrote what paper, but I'm gonna show you their writing samples." So she'll put up like a writing sample on the board and be like, "What did this person do? And which one do you think got a better grade and all that?" And I remember with me, I was like the pretentious film kid, but I was remembered like, oh, well, we talked a lot about juxtaposition. So I was talking like documentary cinema, like, oh, the juxtaposition of this shot compared to the tonality of this thing and all that kind of stuff. And there was this one dude in the class and they like critiqued it. And he's like, I don't know who this kid is, but he used juxtaposition 3 times. He probably got 100. And she was like, yeah, he got 100. And it's like, like that juxtaposition kid really knows what's going on.
Juxtaposition. That juxtaposition.
That little
Yeah.
juxtaposition bastard really knows what's going on. But anyway,
yeah.
when you're working on the mise en scène of an animated film, all the elements that are there, you're controlling not only what your characters are doing, but you're controlling the background, the objects they interact with. You can really see what's important, what's not important, and how it all plays together.
Absolutely.
And I love, again, in the stop motion medium, I'm pretty sure it's a hyper extension of that because now you have to be even more tactile about these realistic objects being there. So yeah, transferring over, you see all of that being applied in something like Grand Budapest, or in this case, we're talking about Guillermo del Toro's.
I see so much likeness between Isle of Dogs and French Dispatch.
Yeah.
And in the style, in the breaking of the fourth wall.
The opening shot of French Dispatch with the guy like getting everything together and like getting all the little trades and all that kind of stuff. The way he moves through the set,
the building,
and also again the Wesisms, seeing the writing a letter and the little script and the way it's delivered and the symmetry on a table
and the coffee cup.
You see him use all these elements, all the seasonings of a good West film. You see him use it here. It's just like he mashed it together too soon. It was
he
like,
just didn't quite know how to use it.
Yeah, like I said, it's like Oreos on pizza. They're great, separate. Yeah.
No,
exactly. They're two good things, but like they don't
belong together.
They don't belong together.
I think he had all the ingredients.
He just
and
mashed
you know
it.
how like steps, like you're making a recipe, right? And they're like, add this because this will make this, and then you have to put the eggs before the flour, and then you have to, you know what I mean?
This man
And he
added
just
a
did,
gallon
like,
of lemon juice.
Just shake it up, on, put it in the fucking oven.
Wait, did he basically do the equivalent of like you when you get IKEA furniture, throw away the instructions and say like, I got this.
I got it. And
Shut up.
And the chair turned into a table.
Yeah, you're
it's just, yeah.
By the way, me and Austin have witnessed that firsthand. Like when you have to build,
white table.
yeah, when you have to build anything, it's like, nah, throw it away. I know what I'm doing, and just drills into everything.
It's
like
a pride thing, bro.
I know. Me and Austin are like, I'm pretty sure the this dowel's necessary.
Yeah.
And it sucks when you got like 5 nails left. You're like, what the fuck?
No, my dad's the worst. He's like, they always throw in extras. I'm like, no, Dad.
No,
That's
they
my
don't.
excuse. Like, oh,
Yeah.
those are just extra. Those
No,
are spares.
Dad, why does this bed have an extra leg? No, it probably doesn't. Like, please. I'm sleeping on the floor now, please.
Yeah. No, I think we're on the same page here. I think
Anybody rating go up?
Mine was a 7.9.
I think that maybe this film's going to be more complex after a couple more screenings. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe after
You
a
guys made
little
a
of the
lot of
devil's
solid
lettuce,
good
you know.
points.
Maybe after
The Diablo's lettuce. Kumar Payana.
Yeah, he plays Padoga, and he's in every single Wes Anderson film except The Life Aquatic.
Well, he passed away in 2013.
Oh, well, every other.
By the way, my favorite role of his, I know none of you have seen it, but I'm probably going to pick it for one of the free months next year, is The Terminal.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh, you showed us where he's
Yeah.
like, I have appointments Monday, right?
Yeah.
I love that.
I think I showed the Lawa clip, but yeah, that's probably my favorite role of his.
Any fun facts? I know you always have fun facts.
Other than like,
This film sucked.
What I read about a fun fact is that his brother did all the props, like the boards and all
there's
that
a couple of fun facts. I didn't know that one. What I did know is that you know how they show that scene where like the BB gun.
Oh, yeah,
And,
the
and
hand
they show
thing.
the hand.
He said something.
So the hand is like there's a BB lodged in there, right? Apparently, that's not the hand of
I was thinking
Ben Stiller.
Of
Somebody
Ben
else.
Stiller. No. Yes, it's not a hand of Ben Stiller. It's the hand of the third Wilson brother.
Really?
Yeah, like Luke and Owen Wilson's brother. I forget the name of his name.
But he actually has a BB lodged.
He actually has a BB lodged in there because it was either Luke or Wilson that as kids shot this fucking kid.
I know that they put that in there.
And they
too.
put it in there because Wes, he's good friends with all these
Yeah.
dudes.
Yeah,
now,
no,
so
like,
he just
they-
wrote it in there. The other facts are less fun and more like, I mean, I don't know how you guys would take these, but as you guys know, Gene Hackman had a real problem being on the set, and he wasn't. His whole idea was like, hey, I'll work for scale because everybody's working for scale, I want my last few roles and my last few film experiences to be fun and relaxing. If you can guarantee that this will be fun and relaxing, I'm in. And it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of stringent, and he's a lead, and he has to do a lot more movement than most of these other actors. So obviously it's going to like weigh on him.
Yeah, yeah.
And by the end of it, he was just getting on Wes's case and publicly like being an asshole to him.
Publicly, that's a whole nother level.
And he was saying stuff to like, hey Wes, you didn't like, you promised this was going to be relaxing and fun. Let me tell you, it's not relaxing and fun. And Wes says that broke him. You know, this was only his third film. And Bill Murray and Gwyneth Paltrow and Angelica Houston kind of came to his rescue. So anytime Gene Hackman was trying to be an asshole, Bill Murray would even come to work on days where he wasn't on the call sheet. Like he would just come to defend his friend.
Just to
Wes
be there,
Anderson.
like, so it wouldn't get too...
Yeah, so like if Gene Hackman started being an asshole, Bill Murray would step off and be
then,
like,
you know,
yo,
Bill
what the
Murray's
fuck?
got,
Like,
you know,
he's
been
got
there.
the juice, right?
He's been in there for a while, yeah.
And yeah, they would just come on days that they're not even supposed to be on set just to protect Wes Anderson from Gene
I love
Hackman.
that because like
No, that sucks. That
Yeah.
kind of makes me feel bad.
it makes me feel.
Yeah.
No,
But hey, just like...
and you know what? I really hope that, like, because I know that a lot of people have been real excited to hear our opinions on this and excited to hear how happy we all are about this film. And I hope that...
you have to watch it.
No,
It's
I
not-
hope
no
what's
matter how bad
understood is this film, and like all films we talk about, it's not... There's no good and bad.
Yeah.
The whole idea is that film is subjective,
Yeah.
but when we're reviewing it from the lens of an auteur,
Yeah.
we're also saying like
That's what it is.
like what did we see in them at the beginning that we saw in them later on?
'Cause he's got
what
that
got better, what
auteur,
got
yeah,
worse?
exactly.
You
It
know,
also,
because
it also hopefully makes us feel better as filmmakers.
yeah,
I'm like,
'cause we're going-
it took them a few times to get it.
Yeah,
it took them
because-
That's
times
one of
to-
my biggest things. When I see... That's why I'm giving this one a bigger rating, because I understand this is a junior film. Like, I get it.
But we can't use that, right? We can't like... I mean, you can.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I'll
I
say?
know what you're saying. I know
no,
what you're saying,
but not every filmmaker gets the luxury of making a film and oh, you did a shitty job on that one. Okay,
yeah,
let's
I know
try
that
again.
sounded- yeah, that
like no, but I still don't think that this one's bad. In fact,
not.
the whole notion of saying I wish he did this when it was later is the feeling of like, dude, the story, the dialogue, the people all have a lot of potential.
Yeah.
But maybe this was not when you should have used them. But he
I feel
re-
you. I
I
feel
will
you.
say this too, like
I understand.
I don't know if you guys heard the interview recently, but Sam Jackson had something interesting that has stuck with me since. I don't know how receptive Wes is on getting notes from his actors or getting notes from people.
neither.
I don't know how receptive he is. It seems like he'd be a guy who's pretty set in stone, other than
Yeah.
like his closest collaborators,
Yeah,
co-writers
absolutely.
and stuff. I heard an interview, or I read something that Sam Jackson said in an interview. They said, I don't keep my mouth shut when it comes to giving a director notes. He's like, let me tell you why. He's like, I've made over 200 films as an actor. A director on average will probably get 10 to 20
I've seen
films,
this interview.
10 to 20 films in their career. I've been on 200 sets. I've picked up some shit
Yeah.
on being on 200 sets.
yeah.
I'd like to think that some of this shit might help you speed up the process. Like, I don't have time, bro. Like, I do need to
I
get
didn't
to...
like that.
I didn't like the I don't got time, bro.
Yeah,
but
like,
but
you're
at
not
the
gonna
same
use it.
time, like, he's saying, like, trust me, the process will go a lot faster if you just listen to some notes and learn some lessons that people have been on other sets kind of can teach you.
I see both sides of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, be open, but you're not a fucking director.
No.
guy.
No,
I
there,
agree.
there's
You know what I
a
mean?
balance between trusting your director
Yeah.
and also being receptive.
Yeah.
But there is a balance because
Yeah.
if you're too much on either side,
Yeah.
then you're gonna get it where somebody's controlling the train and it's not gonna go in a good
Yeah,
direction.
Yeah, and you know, it's a collaborative medium, right? At the end of the day, so how collaborative you're going to be on that set depends on you. I'm bringing it up because, you know, this being his third film, him feeling like I can take on an ensemble cast of this caliber, and maybe
Was the Rotten Tomatoes on it?
the tumultuous nature of working with Gene
People
Hackman.
rate it really high.
The tumultuous nature of working with Gene Hackman probably made Lil Wes insecure.
Yeah.
Uh,
It definitely didn't help Gene Hackman.
just say it. I can't. I don't.
I wasn't trying to ruin your flow.
My bad.
It's an 81, Gus.
81.
I feel like it's still rated relatively high, and it's because it has a lot of merit for it being a very uniquely stylized film, that it's very coherent. I think I even with all the notes I want to say about the acting that I was complaining about, that's stuff that I feel like I would have liked to have seen it done better, but the story itself, if you had given this script to anybody, there's a lot of gold in here, you know? But to me, this one feels like the diamond in the rough film. It feels like I can see all the beauty in it. I can admire it. Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
But I want to be a little bit more critical, only because I've seen this later stuff. Like,
That's the whole thing.
yeah, and it's interesting. I want to talk to anybody who's a big Wes fan also and get their take, because I know a lot of Wes Anderson fans that they're like, oh, dude, but nothing beats it like Royal Tenenbaums. And it's kind of like when we talked about Walter Mitty. I wonder how much it's like you just saw that as like your intro Wes film so early on that's why it's like your standard. Wow. And this is also the one that's very like memed, like the whole like letters and when like people sit in certain ways and all that kind of stuff. I feel like all the Wes Anderson memes came from this film. Yeah. Like, because this is all where it just feels like the meme Wes Anderson film. Like, I don't know. It's like, I think when everybody's making jokes about it, or everybody's like joking about what a Wes film feels like, they're referring to this one. So it's very cornerstone in his filmography, but he's come so far. He's come.
He absolutely has. He absolutely has. I was just looking to see what the reception was in terms of critics, and
when it barely came out.
Yeah, I mean, it was Wes's highest grossing film until until Grand Budapest took over it, and it got a lot of positive reviews out the gate, and it got nominated for an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay.
The screenplay, the story's there, the dialogue's there. Execution-wise, he's done so much more later on.
Got nominated for nothing else. So I think we're both right. I think people feel this way about it.
Yeah. Like the story's good. Like, and again, it had an ensemble cast.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman killed it. I think
absolutely.
Seeing the way he works with Owen and Luke Wilson, obviously those are his close collaborators, so they were able to get the most out of their performances.
And I don't know. Maybe there's also a separation between I don't know how much of an asshole this is going to sound like, but working with Owen Wilson as a co-writer and working with Roman Coppola as a co-writer.
Oh, yeah.
Because
what do you mean?
Wes's films got so much more mature and sophisticated with Roman. But with Owen, they're kind of in between.
And what do you think? Maybe because
I don't know.
Owen Wilson
he's maybe more of a playful nature. He
probably just stuck more to like acting and didn't or.
I don't think. I mean, does you or anybody think of Owen Wilson and think writer?
No.
No.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
When you think of Owen Wilson, do you think writer or do you think wow?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, the Royal Tenenbaums, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry. I feel like after this episode's dropped, I'm gonna get my ass kicked so hard.
Me too, buddy. Me too. Don't worry.
But you get to redeem yourself next week.
It's with the Darjeeling Limited.
Darjeeling full.
I'd rather see 4 dudes talk honestly about a film.
Yeah.
And
that's
you know the backlash.
I like watching videos of 4 dudes as well.
All right. Speaking of 4 dudes, no.
It's 3 dudes. Next film. Next week we're going to talk about Wes Anderson's Darjeeling Limited, and it's the what is it called? The
spiritual sequel to any Sayajiri film.
Well, I think you're gonna know what you're trying to say.
But no. Not the Martini, but the Alpha?
No, it's not the Shirley Temple. What is it?
No, it's the
CK. I think called it the Alpha.
The cherry on the steak.
The Abbey.
Abbey Singer.
Abby Singer. So it's the Abby Singer of our Wes Anderson month. We'll be talking about Darjeeling Limited.
Nice.
And then we'll be ending the month with French Dispatch. One of my personal favorites.
If you haven't already, subscribe, but also catch our previous episodes on the Phoenician Scheme.
On the Phoenician Scheme, his
newest. Good film.
Huh?
You guys
I can't believe that person got him or herself in that predicament.
I know. What a scheme. Yeah. Oh, yeah, but please go and catch that episode, but also catch it in theaters. Please support theaters because, like we mentioned here, he has a limited release. So,
go catch it at the
go
theaters.
support it. Go support it.
Yeah, if you guys catch it, you'll be able to follow along with us, and
you
or
might
disagree with
agree
us.
or disagree with our opinions last week.
that's the fun part. No matter if it's negative, positive, make sure it's positive. Just comment.
Let us know. Make sure to share everything that we're doing. We have a bunch of shorts that are constantly hitting a lot of views. So we thank you guys for it. In a
1,000
day,
views.
we're hitting 1,000 views on their shorts. So we appreciate that.
Yeah.
So
Let's
cool.
make it
Also,
2,000.
Let's make it 2,000.
don't forget to put in the comments, happy birthday, Castro.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Thank you for
Now take your
always
shirt
being with
off.
us.
He's gonna get happy birthdays a month after.
I know.
Bring 'em.
Like,
Bring 'em.
it's
Better
going to
late
be
than never.
December 18th. Like, hey, happy birthday, Castro. I just saw the episode.
I'll be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning into the Lost Star Film Podcast. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Night, everybody.
I love you guys.